The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Subway, the way a sandwich should be. By Digital Equipment Corporation, digital, whatever it takes. And by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
It is a proud day for the Patriot franchise, only the second home playoff game in the team's 37-year history. Will McDonough has covered the Pats all 37 of those years, and he now joins us with his weekly news and notes. Will?
Ahmad, thanks very much. Let's start with a little coaching news today. And Bobby Ross, former San Diego coach, is now the hottest guy in the league. I think Bobby Ross will be the next head coach in St. Louis, but I do know he's going to interview in Atlanta, and Detroit also wants to talk to him. What now happens to Dan Reeves? Well, he was in Atlanta on Friday, and they told him, you look like you could be our guy, but we do want to talk to Bobby Ross. What could be different about Dan Reeves, I don't think, unless he coaches in Atlanta or someplace like New Orleans where he wants to live, he will coach next year. Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, now that the 49ers are out of it, suddenly comes hot guy number 2. He's going to be interviewed in St. Louis, Detroit, and if Bill Parcells leaves New England, I think that Pete Carroll of the 49ers could be the #1 candidate right here. Now that the Chargers job is open, the guy you hear them talk about is Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is suddenly also hot. Let's talk about an old-timer, Marv Levy. Some of his assistant coaches in Buffalo in the past couple of weeks thought that this might have been Marv's last year. Not true. He visited with owner Ralph Wilson in Florida the last few days, and they made an agreement that Marv Levy will coach for 2 more years. Let's give you some player stuff right now. Story's been around. The Philadelphia Eagles want to unload troublesome running back Ricky Waters. I talked to their head coach Ray Rhodes, and he says, not so. This guy's one of the best all-purpose backs in the league, and we're going to keep him. Speaking of Eagles, former Eagle Randall Cunningham has been telling some friends he would like to come back and play football again next year in the National Football League. And finally, everybody in the National Football League has been wondering what's going to happen to Peyton Manning, the great quarterback from Tennessee. The filing deadline for the draft this year is this coming Friday, and I talked to people close to Peyton last night, and they said he will not file for the draft by this Friday because he hasn't made up his mind whether he wants to play pro football or not next year. He still could do it before April of this year, but right now he hasn't made up his mind that he wants to become a pro. Back to you, Greg, and please take it easy on Chris. Remember this, all of you have been there before.
Yeah, Will, you are the champion right now. Congratulations to you. We'll get back to that riveting game in Denver yesterday now. Jacksonville followed up its unlikely win in Buffalo with an even more unlikely win in Denver, both by the score of 30-27.
The Jaguars! The Jaguars! Oh, my goodness! Hey, you shocked the world! They didn't give us any respect. Better look out. Here we go. Here to play. We're for real. Time to prove it. Time to prove it. From the 9. Means again. Steps away from a tackle and Means will score.
These past couple of weeks, we made a statement about the kind of team that we have.
Going on for McCardell. Touchdown. 31 yards on the run. Mark Brunell. What a perfect throw to McCardell.
I think a lot of people felt that the reason we were in the playoffs is because we were lucky.
Trying to keep the ball away from Elway. Brunell slips away. What a move. Still on his feet. To the sidelines of the 40. Another block. Brunell 30, 25, and dives into 21. Oh, my. Brunell on the fade. Touchdown to Jimmy Smith. One game away from playing in the Super Bowl. The Jacksonville Jaguars have upset Denver 30-27.
Oh, heartbreak and agony in Denver, but jubilation in Jacksonville. We are joined now by Jaguars head coach Tom Coughlin from Jacksonville Municipal Stadium. Coach, good morning to you, and congratulations on just a great win. Can you describe your feelings as you returned home and went into that stadium with 40,000 fans roaring in your favor last night?
Greg, it was unbelievable to come back home, coming from the hostile environment where it seemed like all 76,000 were against us, to return home on the same evening and have at 1:30 in the morning 40,000 fans waiting to greet our team was quite an emotional moment.
Tom, this is Chris Collinsworth. How do you explain the turnaround? You start 3-6, first half of the season, so many turnovers, mistakes, penalties, and then the second half of the season, it just stopped.
Well, that's exactly where I would describe it. we got in control of ourselves, Chris. We stopped turning the ball over. We limited our penalties. We started to get our infantry, our ground game going, which gave us balance, which really served to help our defense and our kicking game as well. We upgraded our time of possession and just started to play good, solid football. I think our quarterback, Mark Brunell, really progressed through the course of the season, not only in his level of play, but in his decision-making. And, of course, everyone feeds off of that.
Hey, Coach Mike Ditka, congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of people know that you were on Bill's staff when you were with the Giants. Let me ask you, when you watch this game today, are you going to have mixed emotions watching it, or really do you favor one team or the other? Does it matter who you play in this next game?
No, it doesn't, Mike. As you know, we are in the AFC Championship game, and we'll just await to see who wins.
Tom, Joe Gibbs. San Diego gave up on Natron Means, and really they said, hey, he was 20 pounds overweight. They couldn't get him to work out. How did you reach this guy, and what's he meant to your team?
Well, I think Natron himself decided that, you know, he had gone through one stage in his career. He wasn't real happy about the way the situation ended in San Diego. When he came to us, he's been excellent. We immediately got his weight down to where we wanted it, and he has maintained that weight all year round, and it's just been a pride thing with Natron. But I'm most impressed, and you'll appreciate this. In the beginning of the season, Natron was not starting. He had a torn ligament in his thumb, and James Stewart actually beat him out in preseason. He was a solid citizen throughout it all and asking to contribute on teams or however he could play to help our football team. And that attitude permeated this situation in which he's had great success here at the end of the season, and it has given all of us a great deal of respect for Natron.
Tom, it's Greg again. In the Denver Post yesterday morning, there was an article which was pretty offensive and degrading to your team, comparing the Jaguars to a USFL team or a WFL team, perhaps. How much effect did that have on your team as you went out to play this game?
Well, it was really shocking to open up the morning of a huge playoff game and read this degrading statement, not only about our city, but our football team. It really took the extremes of the First Amendment beyond what anyone would think would be normal common sense. So it got the attention of our football team, and certainly everyone was buzzing about that.
Tom, this is Chris again. It's incredible to think about it now in light of the fact that you've won 7 games in a row. But about mid-season, there were some rumblings that maybe your job was in jeopardy. Was there any truth to that at all?
Not that I know of, Chris. Rumblings, the media, those kind of things, I didn't pay any attention to it. We just tried to continue to do our job as best we could.
All right, Coach, we thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We don't know if it's going to be in Pittsburgh or New England, but we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
You bet. Tom Coughlin, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will play the 35th game in their history next Sunday, the AFC Championship. Up next, we'll turn our attention back to the Patriots and the Steelers. We'll hear from Drew Bledsoe, coming off his best season and facing the biggest game of his career.
Patriots' terrific second-year running back getting set to face the Steelers. And there's another of the Patriots' young stars on offense, rookie Terry Glenn, who has quickly become Drew Bledsoe's favorite target. Greg?
Thanks, Ahmad. One of the interesting matchups today is Drew Bledsoe and the AFC's highest-scoring offense against the blitzing Pittsburgh defense, which has allowed the fewest points in the conference. Chris Collinsworth spoke with the Pro Bowl quarterback who leads the Patriots into their first home playoff game in 18 years.
You know, they've had a lot of great stars here. Larry Bird and Yastrzemski and Bobby Orr, and they tell me in this town now that it's you.
This town is so starved right now for some success, and it's a great sports town. They love their sports teams. We've had a couple of games here, you know, where the fans have been really jacked up this year. It's going to be a little bit hard, actually, to come out and not get too excited and too hyped up at the start of this football game.
This is your second playoff game. Your first one you lost against the Cleveland Browns. What did you take from that experience?
Well, the biggest thing that I took from it is the feeling after that game, the disappointment of being that close and finally getting in there and being in the tournament and having a chance and then not taking advantage of it. You know, I think you get a little more hungry when you have a taste of something and then don't get to go on. I felt bad for Jim, first of all, because they kind of beat him to death.
that's something that's going to be on his mind. What happened to Harbaugh? Hey, like I said, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. You know, he has my deepest sympathy.
I have a lot of confidence in our guys up front that they know what they're doing, that they're going to block aggressively, and that we have, you know, the right guys in the right places to combat what Pittsburgh does.
We've seen this year and really in years past, Rod Woodson has struggled against some of the double moves because he wants to jump routes, he wants to make interceptions, and yet people do get behind him at times. Is there a chance that you guys can do some of that?
Well, I think when you're playing against Rod Woodson, you have to go by him sometimes. You have to run past him and give him the threat of the deep pass.
Why not test me? You know, I'm 31. I had a bad knee last year.
The quarterback position, more than any other, is judged on playoff wins, on Super Bowls. Troy Aikman has that. Steve Young has that. Is that the next step for you?
Definitely. You know, you look at the quarterbacks that are considered the great quarterbacks in the game. Either they've done something outrageous statistically like Dan Marino, or they've won Super Bowls. And, you know, at the end of your career, when you look back, you want to say that you have at least one ring. You got Warren Moon, who's been, you know, one of the best. Marino's been one of the best. You know, Elway. You know, all these guys that are great quarterbacks, but still, I think, feel a little bit empty because they don't have those championships. And, you know, even though I'm 24 years old, this may be the best chance I have in my career to get a Super Bowl. I don't know. So I'm going to do everything I can to take advantage of this opportunity.
Drew Bledsoe sounds like he's ready. Is he, Joe?
He sounds confident to me. That's the reason why offensive coordinators that put together a great plan and that quarterback believing in the plan gives you a lot of confidence, doesn't it, Mike?
Joe, I think he's got to expect the unexpected because Pittsburgh's going to give him something different. They're not going to give him that same old stuff they showed everybody else.
The Steelers, not the Panthers.
Yes.
Okay, we're back with the Honda Pick of the Week right after this.
Nighttime nasal congestion. The Pick of the Week is brought to you by Honda. Vehicles designed to help simplify your life. Will McDonough and Chris Collinsworth both lost yesterday, and that clinches the title for Will. With today's picks, here's Greg Gumbel.
And we know whoever has to get blamed for that, but let's get right to the final picks. Chris still trying to outflank Will. It's not going to work. Phil has phoned in his pick, and like Chris, it's Carolina over Dallas. The rest of us are picking Pittsburgh over New England. You have no room to cry. You have
No, wait a minute. How did he no way he picked the Panthers. No, that's not right. That is not right. You got to revise it. He had to take the Patriots.
Give it to him, Mike.
That's his job. He works there. He lives there.
There's something to be a gracious winner, isn't there? We'll be joined by Jim Harbaugh at halftime. The Steelers and the Patriots are coming up after these words from your local station.
Two teams, two coaches, each with distinctly different styles. The defending AFC champion Steelers make no secret of their intentions. They come right at you with or without the ball. Pittsburgh's in-your-face style mirrors Bill Cowher's coaching intensity.
Good job, baby.
New England's formula for success involves going to the air early and often. Having one of the NFL's most prolific passing attacks belies Bill Parcells' conservative reputation, but the results have been to his liking. Two teams, two coaches, one common goal, moving one step closer to the Super Bowl. Capacity crowd, better than 60,000 turning out in Foxboro, still immersed in fog, although it shows signs of lifting. This is the first playoff game at home in New England since 1978, when the Patriots were beaten by the Houston Oilers. This afternoon, they are looking for a different outcome as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New England Patriots, the winner, to face surprising Jacksonville in the AFC Championship game next Sunday. Today, a major test for Drew Bledsoe. Has had a career season, but still must prove that he can win the big game. Linebacker Chad Brown and that superb Steeler defensive unit will be coming at Bledsoe right throughout the day. It figures to be a Pittsburgh Blitz Festival. And we welcome you. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Randy Cross and Sam Weish. As we reported earlier on the pregame show, Jerome Bettis, despite that painful groin injury, will play. Although, Sam, he is still hurting. And I would think that means more of Cordell Stewart in the game plan today.
Well, Mike Tomczak will start at quarterback, but Cordell Stewart took more practice snaps at quarterback than he has all this year. My guess is, though, that Bill Cowher says it will be a feel thing. There's no real plan, but the less you see of Bettis, the more you're going to see of Cordell Stewart.
And make no mistake, it's not a quarterback controversy in this deal. Neither quarterback's really good enough at this point to execute the whole plan of coordinator Chan Gailey, so they need everybody doing their job at the quarterback position.
And, guys, the only other playoff appearance in the career of Drew Bledsoe 2 years ago against the Browns. Patriots lost to the Cleveland Browns, and Bledsoe threw a couple of key interceptions, killer interceptions in that second half.
Well, you know, it was only his second year in the league. Bill Parcells takes some of the responsibility for that. Put in a few wrinkles, maybe overloaded him a little bit. But Drew Bledsoe is a much more mature quarterback this year.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about the invisible men, the Patriots defense. This defense got hammered by Denver earlier in the year. Since then, this defense has really stepped up, specifically against the defending world champion Cowboys a few weeks ago. 5 times in the red zone. They pick 1 pass off, only 4 field goals, 12 points. That's the kind of performance they need today from the Patriots defense.
All right, this crowd is ready. Coming up, the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rod Woodson taking a private moment. He would love to get back to the Super Bowl. The winner today advancing to the AFC Championship game against Jacksonville.
Welcome back to New England. I'm Jim Gray. Well, I spoke to Jerome Bettis after the pregame warm-up. He told me he's only feeling about 70%. He's been getting treatment all morning. His groin is really bothering him. He is in significant pain. He told me that he told Bill Cowher that he wanted to play and is going to go ahead and give it a go. He doesn't know how effective he will be, and he doesn't think he'll be able to finish the game. Now, this scene right here is very reminiscent to the 1988 Fog Bowl game, the playoff game between the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Bears won that game, and the starting quarterback on that day is the same starter for the Steelers today, Mike Tomczak. For more on the Fog and to lead us out of it, here's Beasley Reese.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Now, they've got some experience on this sideline also with that game. Number 41, Keith Byers of the Patriots, was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles in that Fog Bowl. Now, I spoke to Ray Perkins, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, right before this game started. He sits high up in the press box. He expressed some concern to me about his ability to see down in distance and maybe even recognize some defensive formations. So both of these teams will have to change the way they do business in the second coming of the Fog Bowl. Now, Marv Albert, upstairs to you.
All right, thank you very much, Beasley. About 3 hours ago, it was impossible to see the field. Patriots kicking it off. And it's taken by Mills. Ernie Mills going for 14 yards. Terry Ray on the tackle. And here comes Mike Tomczak. 13 of 21, 176 yards last week in the victory over the Indianapolis Colts. The offensive line anchored by Dermontti Dawson, who has made it to the Pro Bowl the last 5 years. They've been outstanding. Only Dallas has allowed fewer sacks. Jerome Bettis, despite the groin injury in there with Tim Lester, Johnson, Hastings, and Hayes are the receivers. Play action for Bettis, and Tomczak is able to complete for the first down. The tight end, Jonathan Hayes, on the reception. Ted Johnson with the tackle, but a penalty marker is thrown. The referee is Bernie Kukar, and it is against Pittsburgh.
Here we go, Skip. 2 men on the offense, moving up the baseline. 5 yards, penalty still first down.
They had the flanker and the back moving at the same time. That's why I always went with a list, so that you could rehearse in your mind the very first few plays of the game, so you didn't make a mistake like that. Pre-snap mistakes was one of the things that Bill Cowher told us yesterday, just wears him out, and they start the game with one.
He was telling us it gets him crazy, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have committed the second fewest number of penalties in the NFL. It's a first down and 15, and here is Bettis. So the Steelers testing Bettis early. Johnson and Collins combined to make the stop. And a look at that New England defensive unit. And they've come on recently. Collins, Wheeler, Sagapulatelli, McGinnis with 9.5 sacks. The linebacker Slade starting instead of Sabb. We'll see much of Dwayne Sabb. Ted Johnson leading the club in tackles. The secondary has played well recently. Law and Smith at the corners. Malloy and Clay are the safeties. A 2nd and 11. Just underway in foggy Foxboro. Off the draw, Bettis is smothered.
Well, with Jerome Bettis with that bad groin, you got to remember, when he goes to his right, he has a hard time coming back left. And the Patriots are doing a smart thing from the get-go here, guys. What they're doing is they're stunting up front and they're blitzing with their linebackers. They are blitzing the Pittsburgh run.
Force him to cut. They started left, so at least he had to cut to the right. That'll be a little easier for him today.
Jerome Bettis sat out practice all week due to that groin pull. Worked it early this morning here at the stadium. Said he was ready. And Tomczak incomplete. Intended for Jaheen Arnold. Now here on the first series, Mike Tomczak going to a couple of unlikely receivers. The tight end Jonathan Hayes, who caught only 2 passes during the regular season, and Jaheen Arnold has been in the game plan in recent weeks.
And importantly, too, for the Patriots defense, watch the hit Tomczak takes at the end. That's Chris Slade, the linebacker, gets in there, puts a little pounding on the quarterback. That is what the Patriots defense needs.
Josh Miller back to punt, and it could be an adventure for the punt returners. Dave Meggett is back at his 35 and able to handle it. Works his way to the 44-yard line. A 42-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Randy Fuller on the stop. So here are the Patriots to the offense for the first time. This is only his 3rd lifetime appearance against Pittsburgh. Earlier we made mention of the 60 passes thrown last year in that 41-27 defeat. A look at the offensive line. Chris Armstrong, once again a Pro Bowler. Roberts, Woolabaugh, Rucci, and Lane up front. The running backs, Curtis Martin making it to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd straight year. Keith Byers, who will be so important in the blitz pickup, playing for the injured Sam Gash. And Bledsoe to put it up and goes deep on 1st down. Terry Glenn sets up a 1st and goal on a 52-yard hookup. They go right at Rod Woodson.
Play action fake, and they're going to throw the ball deep before Pittsburgh has a chance to do any zone blitzing. Gets the ball off quick. Terry Glenn, with his speed down the sideline, just outruns the coverage.
And Sam, they came out in the 3-4 defense. There was no blitz, and there was no pressure on Bledsoe. You better get in that big guy's face, or he is going to kill you with this young receiver out of Ohio State.
And Bledsoe had been saying throughout the week that Woodson gambles, and they would look to go at him. All right, 1st and goal. Here's Curtis Martin, touchdown. Well, Curtis Martin, who ran for 17 touchdowns during the regular season, a New England franchise record, able to cap off a 2-play drive.
Well, from the Steelers' perspective, the wrong offensive line comes out doing their job early. Good pass protection on the first play, Sam, and they just drilled them on that run.
Hey, Todd Rucci, Max Lane, and then William Roberts pulling up in the hole. Easy touchdown run that time for Curtis Martin.
And this is Adam Vinatieri. 7-0 New England. A 53-yard completion from Bledsoe to Glenn to get it going. That's the longest completion from Bledsoe ever to a wide receiver.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By the new Dodge, it's about change. By Pizza Hut, making it great again and again. And by American Express. Help support the American Express Charge Against Hunger program.
3 minutes and 2 seconds in, and Drew Bledsoe has led the Patriots in 2 plays to a touchdown against the team that allows only 16 points per game. A muff by Arnold, picked up by Mills. And Mills is well covered. The Steelers come in as the AFC's best team defensively.
Now look at the vanilla defense up front. Look at the front 7. You rarely see the Pittsburgh Steelers in that position. Are they getting pressure? Not even near it. They step right up to the throw, right easy to Glenn.
On this touchdown, now watch Roberts right here is going to pull to the right. The tight end blocks down. Wide open hole for 3 or 4 yards.
And Curtis Martin has scored a touchdown in his last 14 games, in each of the last 14 here in Foxboro. Steelers start out from their 19-yard line. Bettis driven back. Mark Wheeler, the left defensive tackle, leading that charge. A man who certainly has had experience under foggy conditions, as mentioned earlier, Jim Gray. Let's go to Jim.
All right, thank you, Marv. Well, Bernie Kukard, after the touchdown, went over to both benches, informed both coaches and the quarterbacks that if they could not see the 25 or 40-second clock, that they should look over to the head linesman, and with 10 seconds left, he will lift his hand so as to know when the play clock was winding down. Marv?
All right, thanks, Jim. 2nd down and 10 for the Steelers. Tomczak with the time and completes to the tight end, Kurt Botkin, who was tackled by Chris Slade. Kurt Botkin, a man who spent some time with both New England and New Orleans and has become more of a factor in recent weeks in the passing game.
He's more of the receiver tight end for them. They'll play John Farquhar as well, but he's more of the blocker, and you can see why he's a receiver. Not only does he catch well, but he's got good speed down the field.
And Bill Cowher was very honest with us last night. He said, hey, look, we found this guy. We brought him in here really to long snap, not to catch balls. We found out he's pretty fast.
And Cordell Stewart has checked in for the first time. He is often used in short-yarded situations, although it was told to us last night as Stewart calls for time that he may also be used in ordinary quarterback-type scenarios. Timeout taken. We'll be right back. The running back combination of Tim Lester, he's the fullback, and John Whitman, number 38, a rookie from Penn State, 3rd-round draft pick. The coaches pleasantly surprised with Whitman as a runner and receiver and got into it last week against the Indianapolis Colts. Played well. 3rd and 1. Cordell Stewart off the roll. Couldn't find the opening, and he's stopped for a loss by Todd Collins.
And Marv, this is exactly what the Patriots talked about the other day. We've seen options in college. You've got to cut off the lead guy, and then you've got to attack the quarterback. Don't let him stand there free. The Colts had a hard time handling this, and they attacked the quarterback.
You saw Willie Clay making sure he couldn't go outside. Todd Collins coming inside out. There was nowhere to go there.
Josh Miller punting from his 11. Dave Meggett is back. And here's Meggett to the 35, to the 40-yard line. Fred McAvee, the captain of the Steelers special teams, on the tackle. 46-yard punt and 11-yard return. And there is Todd Collins, who made that last tackle on Cordell Stewart. He's been starting for Monty Brown, out for the season with an Achilles tendon injury.
Well, perfect. Just like Sam said, you see Collins, you see Clay. I mean, that is how you defense the option.
And if you notice, Todd Collins was just skating along the line of scrimmage with his shoulders squared. No way to cut back either.
And it's something Stewart's not used to seeing.
5 minutes gone by in the first. Play action. Bledsoe able to rifle it and complete. Terry Glenn with his 2nd reception. This one for 12. A tackle by Rod Woodson. Look at the Steeler defensive unit up front. Bill Johnson for the injured Brinston Buckner, Joel Steed, Kevin Henry. The linebackers have played well. Gilden, Pro Bowler Kirkland, Olszewski, Chad Brown making it to the Pro Bowl for the first time. And in the secondary, Woodson and Williams. At the corners, and Lake and Perry are the safeties. And a first down for New England. Bledsoe. This time short range. Curtis Martin to the sideline and bumped out inside the 40. Picked up 7. Jason Gilden on the coverage.
Randy, I'm a little surprised at the defensive strategy of Pittsburgh early in this ballgame. Again, no blitz, just there are 4 people up front giving a little bit of pressure, but nothing behind that causing any trouble for Bledsoe.
Well, what you expect to see out of the Pittsburgh defense is swagger and pressure. And you're not seeing either of them out of that defense. That's exactly what Parcells wants.
Bledsoe 3 of 3 for 71 yards. Curtis Martin has the first down and more. Levon Kirkland and Jason Gilden making the stop on Martin.
Well, watch what happens just inside the guard area here, and then the cutback. If you want to get a swagger out of a defense, especially a physical defense, go at their heart. Hit them in the belly. Give them a body shot.
Only thing they didn't do there was cut off the backside. Jason Gilden there to make the saving tackle.
Curtis Martin, a native of Pittsburgh, 120-yard game last December in his only appearance against the team that he followed as a kid. Bledsoe getting the time. Keith Byers picks up a blocker. Keith Byers able to run it in 34 yards, and the Patriots off to a 13-0 lead.
And this is the screen play. After talking to a lot of the players, we had an idea that they favored this one coming into this ball game. Good setup, looks down the field to hold everybody off. Keith Byers, an excellent receiver, and the screen to the right is good for a touchdown right off the bat in the first quarter.
Guys, 3 weeks ago, they ran a lot of those against the Cowboys because they were anticipating blitz and pressure. You saw Bledsoe. He almost had to oversell his drop because there was no pressure on the quarterback.
Well, Bill Parcells telling us the other day after practice that he has 5 or 6 screen plays prepared for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Adam Vinatieri makes it 14-0 New England. Usually they go with 2 or 3 screens, but he said he'd have a little twist for the Steelers, and this is what he was talking about. Byers for 34 yards on the touchdown. In this first quarter as Adam Vinatieri gets set to kick it off to Ernie Mills and Jaheen Arnold. This is Mills out across the 25-yard line. Again, excellent coverage by the Patriots, led by backup running back Mario Greer. There you see those 2 possessions. The long pass, the 53-yarder to Glenn, set up the first. And here's a look at the second.
Second touchdown was a screen play. The linebackers dropped straight back into coverage. The offensive linemen now are going to break out here in just a minute. The quarterback has to sell one thing. He's got to make sure that he looks straight down the field and then lays the ball off. The linebackers are so deep that the line has a chance to get the angle.
And some great blocks downfield on that safety and the corner.
Pittsburgh starting out from the 26-yard line, putting the pressure on the pass intended for Charles Johnson. Chris Slade coming strong on Mike Tomczak. Keith Byers congratulated by head coach Bill Parcells, executing that screen for the touchdown.
And Marv, on that last play, you mentioned it. Tomczak got a facial massage from Slade. The second time they're getting the shots on Tomczak. Remember, this is not a great passing Pittsburgh team.
2nd and 10. Back to the ground. Jerome Bettis found an opening, could not accelerate. Willie McGinnis was right there to cut him off.
Chris Slade came almost untouched, much like the Pittsburgh Steelers were doing last week. But right here, you see him coming in there. He's all the way around the corner. Kurt Botkin didn't lay a hand on him.
And this Steeler team really needs Jerome Bettis. He's 1 play away from being out with that bad groin. In fact, I don't know if he's going to get hurt worse by running or getting somebody grabbing the leg and making a wish.
Randy, in fact, Bettis is on the sideline now, replaced by Fred McAbee. Tomczak in trouble and running for the first down, able to slide his way out near the 45-yard line. That's an advance of 12, met by Chris Slade.
Chris Slade came to play today, guys. I mean, here's a guy that's been alternating back and forth with Saab there at outside linebacker. He gets the start and comes all the way from the left side of the screen, gets driven around, and then chases it down from behind.
Justin Strelzik tried to cut him that time. That's fine, except you better throw the ball on time if you're going to have your tackles cutting the defensive pass rush.
Johnson left, Hastings right, Bettis, and he's stopped behind the line by Todd Collins. Patriots doing a terrific job here in the early going against Jerome Bettis.
And guess where it comes from, Marv? Chris Slade absolutely blows up the attempted lead block on that play. I mean, this is a nice play. You talk about how do you do it with your shoulder position. Outside shoulder blows right through Lester. I mean, that is football.
You've got to force Bettis to have to make quick cuts in the backfield if you want to wear that injury out, take him out of the ballgame.
2nd and 9. Just under 6 minutes remaining, first quarter. And a flag is thrown as Tomczak throws it away.
That's thrown where they throw holding penalties. The referee threw it from the offensive right side.
Yeah, right. Always picking on the poor linemen, even coaches, huh?
Holding, number 68 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's the right guard, Brendan Stye, 3rd-round draft pick last year out of Nebraska.
You like those double circles?
That's
I
good.
kind of like this toy.
See, we've got 2 telestrators up here, and if I move faster, I get the first circle.
2 telestrators and 1 tackle. Brendan Stye, that's a good tackle.
And I must point out, at this stretch of the broadcast, Randy's showing more quickness, Sam.
Okay.
It'll be a 3rd down and 9. They wanted to reset the play clock. Patriots with a 14-0 lead on the Steelers. Oh, Tomczak got popped. He was walloped. The pass intended for Charles Johnson.
Right up here, you're going to see the blitz coming up in the corner today. It's going to be a little stunt. He comes back inside. Nobody gets to him. They're 1 man short, blocking to the left side.
Yeah, McAfee had to make a decision. He saw 2 bodies, and he got the first one that came to him.
Jerome Henderson, who's played very well as of late, able to get to Mike Tomczak, and another punt by Miller. Back comes Meggett. A short return, 47-yard punt by Josh Miller. We have 5:22 remaining in this first quarter. As you take a look at Mike Tomczak getting walloped from behind by Jerome Henderson. We'll be right back. Back in Foxboro, the last time that Drew Bledsoe and this particular group of Patriots were in a playoff was back in Cleveland '94. Bledsoe with only 21 of 50, intercepted 3 times. This one picked off by Pepper Johnson. 4th quarter, Patriots pulled within 7 and recovered this onside kick, but came up short. The drive stalled with Bledsoe's 4th consecutive incomplete pass. Bill Parcells' first trip to the playoffs with the Patriots. The opposing coach for the Cleveland Browns, Bill Belichick, who is now an assistant coach on the staff of Bill Parcells. Bledsoe with the impressive numbers here at the start. The shoestring catch by Myers, tackled by the free safety Darren Perry. The last time the Patriots hosted the Steelers was back in 1979, the last time Pittsburgh was here in Foxboro, and at the time Drew Bledsoe was 7 years old. Sam was only 12.
I was 12, going on 13, which okay, I am today.
Well, a 7-year-old could stand back and throw the ball against this defense if they're not going to get in his face, and Bledsoe stepping into every throw.
It is a 2nd down and 2. Here's Curtis Martin, short of the first down. Joel Steed, the nose tackle, and the strong safety Carnell Lake combined to make the stop.
You know, that was a good play by the Pittsburgh defense, but we're kind of seeing a reversal of the roles. The Pittsburgh defense is what we've been talking about, what everybody's been talking about, and they're certainly very good. But the Patriot defense is outplaying them today.
Yeah, it's like I said at the opening of the game. Don't forget the invisible men. Dick LeBeau there, the coordinator for the Steelers, and his crew have gotten a huge amount of credit. But, you know, nobody talks about Al Groh's guys, and they're doing a heck of a job so far.
3rd and 1. Flags come flying. Martin has the first down and some additional yardage. Carnell Lake, the strong safety on the stop. And let's check out the flag. Does it seem a bit louder here than normal? I know they have pumped up the sound system, but right from the start.
Offside on the defense, number 92. The penalty is declined. First down.
Well, that is Jason Gilden, the outside linebacker. Now, wait a second. Perhaps fog in the area has something to do with the sound system. I know
it's an acoustical,
yes.
You know, it's a fog lid, Marv. And what you don't want to do, remember, Sam, you talked about it, pre-snap mistakes. Another pre-snap mistake.
Well, Bill Cowher can't stand them, and he's already getting a taste of it.
First down at the 44-yard line. Short set by Bledsoe, and again completes. Ben Coates, who had 62 receptions during the regular season, is able to make that catch, met by Levon Kirkland, along with Rod Woodson and Carnell Lake. The question is, can Kirkland, a linebacker, cover a tight end like Coates as he did last week against Ken Dilger of the Colts?
Marv, not if Bledsoe gets that kind of protection. I mean, this defense came in here looking like an attack dog, Sam, and right now they look like poodles. They are not attacking.
They're very passive so far in this ballgame.
Just under 3 left. First quarter, Patriots 14, and the Steelers nothing. Again, penalty markers. Curtis Martin stopped at the line.
And I think Carnell Lake was trying to fake the blitz and just stepped into the neutral zone.
Offside, number 37 on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, resulting in the first down.
And that's one of the things Bill Cowher knows. When you're trying to get that attack mentality going, you're going to get a defensive back trying to time the blitz. Last week, Carnell Lake was not called when he was offsides against the Colts. That time he jumps a little too early.
Good point.
Wow, high praise from Sam.
That's as high as I go.
I haven't heard that all season for anyone. And Coates with a short pickup met by Gilden. That penalty a moment ago against Pittsburgh, the second accepted. There were 2 declines, so already 4 have been assessed, and Pittsburgh, as I mentioned earlier, second in the NFL in fewest penalties, 84. Only Indianapolis committed fewer penalties, so you know he is very upset about that.
And an obscure stat, though, Marv, the Patriots, their opponents have had more penalties called on them than any other team in the league. I mean, it's not something everybody keeps track of, but it's true.
Second down and 8 at the 41-yard line, and Curtis Martin gets to the 38, met by Darren Perry, and the Patriots mixing up the plays so effectively here at the start.
Well, they finally brought somebody. Jerry Osavsky comes right in the middle. You see him right here, blitz. And they're going to give a little bit of pressure, adding, and also coming from the top of the screen as well, Jason Gilden. But still some good yardage. The offensive line is just outplaying the defensive.
What they're doing up front is they're finishing their blocks. That play was William Roberts and Byers at the fullback position, finished off the defenders.
3rd down and 5 at the 38. And Bledsoe's pass incomplete. That is his first incompletion. 7 of 8. 124 yards for Bledsoe here at the start.
But once again, that was a coverage type situation, but he was not getting the pressure. Drew Bledsoe was throwing those fall-away jumpers against the blitz earlier this year. Right now, he's just standing up there tall and stepping at it.
And here's Tom Tupa, who has had an outstanding season. Jaheen Arnold is back and lets it carry, and it ended up in the end zone, and that upset Ray Lucas, who was trying to down it. 38-yard punt by Tupa. Well, tonight here on NBC, In the Line of Duty, Blaze of Glory, an NBC World premiere movie. They look like the perfect couple, but they are wanted by the FBI. It's Lori Loughlin from Full House, as you've never seen her before. In the Line of Duty, Blaze of Glory. That's tonight here on NBC. Marv Albert with Sam Weish and Randy Cross. Divisional playoff between the Steelers and the Patriots. The winner to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, who pulled off the shocker yesterday in Denver. This is Jerome Bettis. So they keep trying with Bettis. Has not been able to get much going. He has 6 carries, 16 yards. Picked up 4 on that play. It'll be a 2nd down and 6 at the 24-yard line.
You know, it's 14-0. It's too early to be in a panic situation. But if the feel or the gut feeling by Bill Cowher is how he makes that quarterback change, he's got to be sensing something maybe on the horizon here.
Well, is Mike Tomczak, is he capable of bringing a club from 14 points down? Bettis once again gets the call.
Honestly, Marv, as a passer, he's the passer they have. The guy that's going to do it with the pass is Mike Tomczak. Cordell Stewart brings a lot to the game. Remember, I told you at the beginning of the game, neither guy is a total package. But the part of the package Tomczak brings is he knows the passing game. He knows pass defense.
They've won a lot of football games with both those quarterbacks. They're still in this thing. It's just that they're going to have to make something happen here to get themselves going again.
This first quarter rolling down. When we resume, it'll be a 3rd and 3 for the Steelers from their 27. A burst by the Patriots. They lead the Steelers 14-0 after 1. The fog has lifted slightly. About 2 hours ago from our broadcast vantage point, it was impossible to see the field. In fact, we had to turn Sam around. He was looking in the wrong direction, and it was very embarrassing.
And the sad thing is he was commenting on the view.
Yes.
Well, the worst part was that's the 2nd week in a row it happened. There was no fog last week.
New England 14-0 over Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 3 from the 27 as the 2nd quarter gets underway. And here is Fred McAfee getting to the outside and has a 1st down. The Pittsburgh Steelers' best rally this season. The biggest deficit they were able to come back from was an 11-point margin against the Miami Dolphins. They were down 14-3 and were able to successfully come back. They're down here by 14.
Well, this is a team built with power in mind, not built with speed and comeback in mind.
And a 1st down at the 31-yard line. Here's Bettis, and again he is stopped. Short pickup by Bettis.
You know, the difference between the two teams are that the Patriots are able to come from behind. They were down 22-0 to the Giants, 21-0, I think, to the New York Jets. And they can come from behind. The Steelers, on the other hand, are exactly what you said. They'd rather pound you. They want Jerome Bettis to get that look in the defensive eyes that here he comes again.
2nd down and 8 at the 33. And Tomczak to the sideline, almost intercepted. It was intended for Charles Johnson. And Otis Smith had a crack at it. Otis Smith has taken over as the starter right corner for Ricky Reynolds and has played very well.
Almost deja vu all over again here in the flat. Last week, Tomczak threw one out there that was returned for a touchdown by Eugene Daniel, and he got a great break on it.
Tomczak 1 of 6, only 9 yards. Looking at a 3rd down and 8. Diving catch made on a floater. Andre Hastings, but well short of the 1st down. Scooter Magruder on the tackle, and again the punting unit will check in. This is a Pittsburgh team that opened the season losing at Jacksonville, and they lost Greg Lloyd for the season of that game. Things looked very bleak, but they turned it by winning 5 straight, 7 of the next 8. They went to 9-3, but then dropped 3 of their final 4 games to finish at 10-6, a game behind New England in the conference race. And it's a fake. McAfee on the fake punt and has the 1st down.
And Sam, you know why you do that? You know why you can do that at 14-zip in your own territory? Because of the playoff experience and the confidence Bill Cowher has in his football players.
No question about it. Everybody just blocks down. It's a direct snap to the up back. And everybody on the defensive side of the ball, the return side of the ball, is looking past him. They actually don't even see the exchange.
Well, they had this ready last week for the Colts. Didn't get the right look. Got it today, and it's more guts than it is look, though.
And McAfee picked up 10 yards. First down at the 47. Bettis able to shake tacklers for the first time and has a first down. That's his longest run. Picked up 13 on that play.
You know, that time Bettis started the right and had to cut back to the left. That's the toughest move he's got to make, cutting to his left. It's his right growing area, so he's got to pull that right leg over the left like that. Not a full, you can see he drags it a little bit, but he's getting the job done.
Yeah, I'm not going to step in front of him.
Nope, he's playing with a lot of pain, man.
I tell you, I wouldn't want any part of that guy.
And a first down at the 42. Tomczak is taken down. First sack of the day for the Patriots. Combination of Mike Jones and Chad Eaton getting to the quarterback.
And they're doing it the Pittsburgh way. They're blitzing and they're stunning up front. Bill Cowher is watching a little bit of his own medicine being put on his own offense.
What you get, I think Chris Slade, too, has made a big difference in this one. He's in for Dwayne Saab for this ball game. He's going to play most of it. This is one of the wrinkles that Bill Parcells said he was going to do during the game.
And this is an offensive line that has allowed very few sacks. Only Dallas has given up less. Tomczak taken down again. Successive sacks. Jones involved, number 96. And Chris Slade also getting to the pocket.
You know, at the very end of this play, watch how many of the Pittsburgh offensive linemen are standing and watching the sack take place. And the linemen are setting up in their pass protection. Now watch right at the end. You see all these guys down here in the bottom of the screen, they were just turning, their arms are down by the side. When I see a lineman with his arms by his side, the play is over for him.
Right now, the Steelers are being out-Steelered.
Third down and 25, back at the 43. Out of the shotgun. It is completed. Jaheen Arnold. Ball may have been knocked loose, but Otis Smith on the tackle and Arnold able to hold on. It's an 11-yard pickup and well short of a first down.
You know, yesterday, Bill Parcells told us that he thought the toughest way to win, or the toughest place to win, was on the road in the playoffs against a good team. And obviously, they're all good teams in the playoffs. And that's what Pittsburgh has run into right now. A fired-up football team, a fired-up stadium, a good football team on the road, and they're having their problems.
But, Sam, a team that was 3-5 this year on the road. Not as effective away from Three Rivers.
Fourth punt of the day, Josh Miller taking that high snap. Dave Meggett from his 10, 15, out across the 20-yard line. 36-yard punt, 11-yard return, 10 minutes to go in this first half. 14-0 New England.
Good. Wise.
On NBC is brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. By Acura, who invites you to test drive the new flagship of Acura, the RL. And by UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL.
Well, this is only the second playoff game the Patriots have ever hosted. The only other playoff game played in New England back in 1978. Patriots losing to Houston. The Oilers advancing to the AFC Championship game. Curtis Martin able to break a tackle. Curtis Martin inside the 30, inside the 15. Touchdown. Yards for the native of Pittsburgh who grew up rooting for the Steelers. Curtis Martin extends to a 20-0 lead for the Patriots.
We talked about offensive linemen standing around and watching on the last Pittsburgh offensive play. Watch this offensive line stick on blocks. The blue shirts are on the white shirts, and the white shirts are groping.
Well, I tell you, they have lost Sam Gash for the season. He's usually that lead blocker that's one-on-one on the linebacker to break those kind of runs. This is a great job of coaching, of getting the team and adjusting to the players they now have.
So 9:55 remaining in the first half. And it's now New England with a commanding 21-0 lead on Pittsburgh.
Let me do the...
Well, the New England Patriots closed the regular season as one of the hot teams in the NFL, winning 8 of the last 10, and they're on fire here in the first half. Ernie Mills and Jaheen Arnold are back for the kick from Adam Vinatieri. This is Mills. Once again, terrific coverage by the Patriots, led by Larry Wiggum.
First of all, look at the coordination between Max Lane and Todd Rucci. Lane down, Rucci around.
And after this play starts, now watch Joel Steed, the nose tackle right there. He's going to just overrun the play. Just gets by Levon Kirkland, makes the last guy miss, and now it's a foot race. That's a pretty football play.
Well, Martin, 6 rushes, 103 yards, his second touchdown of the half. Cordell Stewart is back at quarterback. And this is not a short yardage situation. Jerome Bettis reaching out to the 30-yard line. Met by Shad Eaton. Well, Greg Lloyd, who was sidelined for the year in the opening Steeler game against Jacksonville, trying to get the defense fired up. We talked about that last night with Chad Brown asking about Lloyd's presence on the sideline. Chad said, well, we kind of listen, but keep in mind, he hasn't looked at any game film all week. In effect, it is strictly from a motivational point of view on the part of Greg Lloyd. Bettis. And he's met by Ted Johnson. Well, Ted Johnson, a teammate of Cordell Stewart at Colorado, the leading tackler for the New England Patriots, able to make the stop on Jerome Bettis.
Ted Johnson just stands right in the middle. He's going to slide. He's actually getting held right there, it looks like to me, by Brendan Steib, but just fills the hole. A good linebacker makes most of his hits on the offensive side of the ball.
Watch the body language. The forward lean body language is all in blue jerseys.
3rd and 4 for the Steelers from their 31-yard line. And Stewart going incomplete. The pass intended for Charles Johnson. 3 and out. And again, the busiest man on the Steeler roster, Josh Miller, will check in. This is 5th punt. They did have 1 fake, which was a successful maneuver. McAbee able to run it for the first down.
You know, other than the fake, everything's been tentative today, offensively and defensively for Pittsburgh.
Megan is back for the punt. And Megan with the return. Gets out to the 37-yard line. Corey Holiday involved in the stop. 43-yard punt, 7-yard return. 8:13 left in the first half.
Ken Stevenson, the offensive line coach, talking to his all-pro Dawson. I mean, Marv, the biggest influence of fog is all inside the heads of the Steelers right now.
Ronnie Dawson hearing it on the sideline as we resume with another completion to Terry Glenn. Terry Glenn with his 3rd catch of the day. One went for 53 yards to set up that first New England touchdown.
Exactly. I mean, I stood on the sideline last week and was amazed at how physically beaten the Colts were. I mean, they were beaten up by this team. The swagger is in blue. They are hammering Bill Cowher's team right now.
How about this stat, too? On first down, they're averaging 23 yards on first down alone, New England.
2nd down and 6 from the 42 in New England territory. And Martin getting the call this time. He is stopped at the line. Stopped by Jerry Olszewski. Oliver Gibson. Well, look at this, the efficiency of the Patriots. 2 plays and a touchdown. 4 plays and a touchdown. Then they had the ball for 8 plays, forced to punt. And then 1 play, that the Curtis Martin 78-yard run for the score.
Sam, how much of that is just good early game planning by the New England coaching staff?
Well, it's all good game planning when it works. That's the answer to that one.
That extra week never hurts.
And you see the movement and the flags and a big hole for Dave Meggett. Has the first down if it holds up Myron Bell on the tackle. It's a 14-yard advance.
On the defense. Penalty is declined. That's the first down.
Well, it's Chad Brown jumping, and it will be a 14-yard pickup from Meggett.
You know, as we watched that last play, Bill Parcells told us that they guessed a couple of weeks ago who they might be playing because they'd already played Jacksonville, they'd already played Buffalo, and their other option, of course, would be the Steelers. So they've been really working on the Steelers for 2 weeks. That's a lot of game planning.
But you never know. Had they come out here flat, people would say, hey, the long layoff hurt them. So you can rationalize after the fact. Well, the screen pass dropped by Troy Brown. He was wide open. It sets it back to a 2nd and 10 at the 46-yard line. Troy Brown, the man who made that sensational reception on his back 2 weeks ago against the Giants, and right here wide open, could not hold on.
Hey, you mentioned, Marv, normally 2 or 3 screens for a game plan. Today 5 or 6, and that had to be one of the new ones, and Drew knew he had it all the way.
2nd down and 10. Patriots at the Steeler 46-yard line. They lead 21-0. Patriots over the Steelers. Bledsoe is taken down. Chad Brown, who had 13 sacks during the regular season, comes up with the Steelers' first of the day.
Chad Brown had 3 sacks last week. A little game going at the top of the screen. He's going to come back inside. Beats Bruce Armstrong to the inside, just keeps right on coming. Actually, they're trying to zone it off right there, and he finds a crease in the offensive line.
And that little pause you saw on the ground, I don't think that was contemplation. This guy was out all week long with the flu. Physically, not a very big dominating guy. He lost 5 pounds this week.
Finally got back to practice on Friday. 3rd down and 18 for the 46. Bledsoe in trouble again, and he's tripped up and then flips it away. Penalty marker is down.
It'll be intentional grounding. He's within the pocket area.
Well, the blitz from the defensive back, Chris Oldham.
Intentional grounding. Number 11 on the offense. Also, loss of down.
Coming in hard. Got both guys coming up the middle. And Chris Oldham got there before anybody did.
And what frustrated the Colts was the timing of those blitzes so far. And even that one was a little bit off. The timing and coordination of the stunts and blitzes have not been there. They've resulted in offsides.
Only the 2nd punt of the game for Tom Tupa. Jaheen Arnold is back. He's replaced Andre Hastings as the punt returner, and things have improved in that department. Here's Arnold. Tripped up. Patriots getting downfield in a hurry. Only a 4-yard return on a 46-yard punt. The backup tight end, Mike Bartram, made the stop. While we were away, Bill Cowher trying to fire up the defensive unit. A moment ago, their best series against the Patriots, finally holding the Patriots without a score. Cordell Stewart took a big hit as he fires downfield and almost intercepted. Intended for Charles Johnson, covered by Willie Clay and Otis Smith, and Johnson shaken up. Charles Johnson, 60 catches during the regular season, a deep threat guy out of Colorado.
Otis Smith is right there with him. Willie Clay, the safety, coming inside out. He's the guy that lays the lick on Charles Johnson. Johnson is their speed guy down the field. And look at the pressure on Cordell Stewart.
That's Ferret Collins gets in there, and just, you know, there's times to jump and times when it's not very good to jump. When you're in the air, defensive linemen love to just land on top of a quarterback.
This is Charles Johnson
one of the many Colorado players in this ball game on both sides of the ball, but just runs a fly pattern or go pattern straight up the field, stride for stride. Otis Smith watches the receiver. He never really sees the ball come in, but Willie Clay almost got that one.
Hey, it's Willie Clay's lower body came in there and slammed into the upper body of Johnson's.
Charles Johnson, a player who has made it back from a knee injury and has emerged this season as a big play receiver. 5:41 remaining in the first half here in Foxboro. The Patriots with a 21-0 lead on the Steelers. The winner here will face the Jacksonville Jaguars for the AFC title. That'll be next Sunday. You can join NBC Sports as the conference champion is crowned in the AFC championship game. Coverage beginning at 3:30 Eastern. Greg Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, and Ahmad Rashad will preview the big game, get you caught up on all the NFL's latest news. The AFC championship game next Sunday right here on NBC. How about the Jaguars stunning the Broncos yesterday?
One of the greatest things I've seen in a while, though, Marv, was that full stadium in Jacksonville watching it on the big screen.
Second down and 10. And Cordell Stewart is stopped by Ted Johnson. His one-time teammate at Colorado, Dwayne Sam, also involved.
Remember what I'm sorry, Sam. Remember what I said before? Right now, the Steelers are being out-Steelered.
Well, that's
Time
what
for
you
a
see right
wake-up
there.
call.
And this is the blitz. The Steelers like to blitz. They're not doing it today. The Patriots are. And the fog, I just want to mention to you, is coming in as it did just before game time. It's getting really tough to see out there.
Well, those defenders are close enough for the linemen to know where they are and who they're supposed to block, though.
It is a 3rd and 15 from the 23-yard line. That was the 3rd sack by the Patriots. And Stewart comes up short. Intended for Hastings. Bruschi on the coverage. You know what the Steelers are forced into now? They've got probably their second choice as a pure passer in the ball game when they need to be throwing it. Still a lot of time. Obviously, we're still in the first quarter. But they've got the scrambler that makes something happen when things break down in the ball game, and probably going to see him a lot more. And this the 6th punt of the day for Josh Miller. Incidentally, Charles Johnson had the wind knocked out of him and was back on the field for that last pass. Meggett is back behind his 30. And here's Meggett. Able to break a tackle, works his way across the 40, met by Lethon Flowers. 48-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Intended for Ben Coates, and yes, the fog even more severe as this second quarter progresses, but New England has a 21-0 lead. You know, you look back at the Patriots during the course of the regular season. We mentioned that the biggest deficit Pittsburgh was able to come back from was 11. They came back after trailing 14-3 to beat Miami. The Patriots were down, rather had a 22-0 lead late in the second quarter against the Jaguars back in late September, and then needed overtime to pull it out. The draw play set up for Byers, and he took it to the outside, just short of the first down. Von Kirkland and Carnell Lake able to make the stop on Byers.
You know, discipline is a very key thing on defense, Sam, and you talk about that all the time on the field, and you got to do what your job tells you. And if you're supposed to be in a certain gap and do certain things, you got to be there. Bill Johnson, the defensive end, playing for Brenson Buckner, got upfield so quick, he took himself right out of that play. That's why Byers was able to get underneath him for that run.
Sometimes when you get up the field too fast, you create a crease right behind you. It is a 3rd down and 3. Curtis Martin getting to the outside and has the first down. Darren Curry able to make the trip. Well, Sam, I know you're talking about the fog, but perhaps the fog has set it up in the booth. Did you say we're in the first quarter a moment ago? I hope not. I meant to say first half, if I did, but we're not in the first quarter, if that's your question. It's the first half. It is, yes, with 3:47 remaining in this first half.
I'm new at this, Marv.
It is a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. And off the pitch, it is Martin. And Curtis Martin breaking tackles. Olszewski and Lake combined.
I tell you, Mike Tomczak's going to be on the sideline warming up for a while, like you saw in that shot, the way the defense isn't stopping Curtis Martin in this offense.
6 yards. 2nd down, 4.
Ben Coates and John Burke now line up as the double tight ends. 2nd down and 4. Terry Glenn in motion. And Martin gets the call. Chad Brown on the stop.
Stop by number 94, Chad Brown.
Now, overall, the defense, I don't want to harp on this part of it here, but they not lethargic, but they don't have that same energy level that you have seen all year long from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They don't look aggressive. You can see players on the backside that aren't chasing like they did. Sometimes you just get to a point in the season when you've got a fatigued football team, and they look that way today.
Well, really, it's that coordination and timing. When it's done right, they look like a pack of wild dogs last week. And now they just sort of look like dogs this far in the first half.
A 3rd down and 6. And Bledsoe comes up short, incomplete on the deflection.
Sam, you're a pilot. At what point passing game-wise in these type of conditions do you sort of start throwing on instruments? I mean, does that actually become a factor with this kind of fog?
They're there. Anything deep down the field, you're on instruments right now. The fog is a factor on this play right here, I'll tell you, on the punting game. Anytime that ball gets high in the air, it disappears from us. I assume it's a little easier to see on the field, but not really, not a clear look.
All right, Tom Tupa punting to Jaheen Arnold. And this one is angled out of bounds. They'll spot it inside the 5-yard line. A 39-yard punt. Larry Wickham able to make the play. We'll be right back. Well, coming up, Rick Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth on the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report, plus Jim Harbaugh live from Orlando, Florida. He'll be chatting to the guys. That is coming up at halftime. A 21-0 lead for the New England Patriots over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drew Bledsoe with a red-hot first half. Curtis Martin, 109 yards on the ground. That is already a single game New England franchise record for a playoff. Jerome Bettis getting the call. And due to the fog conditions here in Foxboro, the camera's not able to shoot the clock, so we're putting it in electronically from our New York studios. And of course, we'll keep you up to date as Maccabee is able to run it across the 10-yard line. We're down to 1:23 and counting here in this first half.
Pittsburgh went with a no huddle, a quick substitution, got their extra receivers in there, and then ran the draw.
I tell you, last week the Steelers offense had 407 yards against the Colts. So far today, 72 yards.
And a timeout has been called. Curtis Martin, as we mentioned already in the first half, has established a New England Patriot playoff franchise record, 110 yards. Record that was set by Craig James. 1985 AFC Championship game. Craig James, the last Patriot running back to run for over 100 yards in a playoff. Went for 105 on 22 carries to help propel the Patriots into their first Super Bowl. Craig James now in the television booth these days. It's a 3rd down and 4. And Cordell Stewart's pass comes up short. Intended for Jaheen Arnold. Covered by Otis Smith. So down to 1:20 to go in this first half.
And now Pittsburgh's going to have to punt to the Pats. Good field position, and they'll have 3 timeouts remaining in this first half.
Now, as Stewart steps into it, watch the pass be deflected. See, it just gets tipped there by Willie McGinnis as he's trying to put the ball over the top of him.
And this is the 7th punt of the game for Josh Miller. Patriots do have 2 timeouts remaining. And Megan able to hold on to the football. It's getting tougher and tougher to handle the punts with the heavy fog. 43-yard punt.
I really want to listen to halftime and hear what Jim Harbaugh has to say, because the beating he took from this Steeler team last week, he's got to be sitting, you know, down in Florida just saying, hey, now wait a minute, where were these guys last week when I needed them? I mean, with his new teeth, I should add.
Well, Pittsburgh with a 42-14 victory last week to advance to the divisional playoff. Mike Ditka might have some interesting comments. He coached in the Fog Bowl. It's not quite to that extent as we reflect back on that divisional playoff game in Chicago, December of '88. Here's Bledsoe. And it is incomplete. Intended for Terry Glenn, covered by Levon Kirkland. That Fog Bowl game won by Mike Ditka's Bears 20-12 over Philadelphia. Mike Tomczak, as we mentioned earlier, played in that game.
Number 88 on the offense.
And a
moving
flag.
forward prior to the snap. That penalty has declined. 2nd down.
Illegal motion on the Patriots declined. We're down to 1:07 remaining in this first half. It is a 2nd down and 10 for New England.
And we talked about earlier yesterday, actually, in the pregame of that game, and talked today about Bledsoe as being a transition game, a defining moment, and a real test. He's past point A, test A.
And Bledsoe's pass picked off by Willie Williams, intended for Dave Megan. So Willie Williams on the interception of that screen pass.
Well, I tell you, he passed the first test, but this is the 2nd test, and he didn't want to fail right at the end of the first half to give that ball back to Pittsburgh. Ball is just thrown out, and his anticipation on the throw that time by Willie Williams.
Now watch where Meggett puts his hand up and doesn't really go for that ball.
You know, I don't know if they can see the ball well. I'm not even sure they can find the quarterback back there when they look back in the backfield.
Well, Willie Williams saw it, had only 1 interception during the regular season, 7 last year. Mike Tomczak back at quarterback. And Tomczak's pass is caught, a diving reception by Hastings, covered by Malloy.
This is just what Pittsburgh wanted, a chance to get back in the ballgame and do something right before the end of the half.
We're down to 47 seconds remaining. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, and it's intercepted by Ty Law. Tomczak picked off, or did he drop it? Now it's ruled incomplete. Law thought he had it, but could not hold on.
And we saw how hard it was to pick up that ball that was floated out. Tomczak is drilling these balls, trying to fit it in. Another case of a defensive back getting a great break in anticipation and a little miscommunication with Johnson, the receiver.
Yeah. And a 2nd and 10 for the Steelers at the Patriot 30-yard line. Down to 39 seconds to go in the half. Tomczak out of the shotgun, stepping up and throwing incomplete.
Patriots choosing to rush only 3 people and drop 8 back into coverage, almost at a prevent. They're down around field goal range now. They're certainly within a chance to take a shot at it. So they're going to concede the 3, not to give them 7.
It is a 3rd and 10 at the New England 30-yard line. 33 seconds to go in this first half. Now the fog is worse at this point than at any other point during this first half. This is the way it looked about 2 hours prior to game time. 3rd down play. And Tomczak's pass caught by Hastings, and he's run out of bounds by Corwin Brown.
Didn't quite get enough of the first down now, though, and they need some points before they go in this half. I don't think they're going to be gambling right now on 4th down.
We talked about how successful the screenplay was for the Patriots earlier. This is nice execution, and what this really does is this puts you in a position where you can either go for it or kick it, and they're going to go for it.
Yep. 4th down and 4 at the New England 24 with 26 seconds left in the half. The swing pass. McAfee is stopped.
You see there, Marv, they had a chance to put something on the board. Just walk away from this first half getting some points right there. If they'd been 4th and a foot or a yard, but that's a coaching decision, and he had to make the call as to whether to try to, spark the team enough to get the 7 points. But that was a little swing pass, nothing down the field to get the big play.
Well, watch the attack. Remember the attack all coming out of one side of the ball club? Well, the attack on that case was from the linebacker, Teddy Bruschi, the rookie out of Arizona, attacking McAfee.
And Tomczak now 6 of 13, 44 yards. That has been it. Patriots take over on downs with 21 seconds to go, and that will do it. They run out the clock, and hear it from this capacity crowd. At the half in Foxboro, Patriots with a 21-0 lead on the Steelers. The winner advances to next Sunday's AFC Championship game to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now stay tuned for Greg Gumbel and the Domino's Pizza halftime report after these messages from your local station. This is the NFL on NBC.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now.
Hi once again, everyone, and welcome to our studios in New York. Greg Gumbel along with Chris Collinsworth, Mike Ditka, and Joe Gibbs. The Patriots lead the Steelers by a score of 21-0. The winner of this game advances to the AFC Championship game next Sunday against Jacksonville. One guy who's pretty familiar with both Pittsburgh and New England is Indianapolis Colts quarterback Jim Harbaugh. He played against Pittsburgh last week and twice during the regular season against the Patriots. And Jim joins us now from his home in Orlando. Jim, thanks for joining us. What is the difference in this Pittsburgh team today and the one that whipped you guys a week ago?
Well, New England's doing a great job, especially up front. They're giving Bledsoe time to throw the ball. Curtis Martin's making people miss in the secondary, got the 78-yard run. I think there's two things right now that are helping the Patriots. One, it's a little slower field here in New England than last week when we played in Pittsburgh on that fast track and the artificial turf. Plus, Drew Bledsoe is doing a great job with his snap count.
Jim, this is Chris Collinsworth. The Steelers came out and they blitzed so little early in the ball game. Do you have a theory on why it looked like a different game plan than a week ago?
Well, with that first series, definitely Pittsburgh didn't quite come with the blitzes that they showed against us. But after that first and second series, they've been coming with the safety blitzes, the corner blitz, bringing the weak side linebackers. But Martin made them pay for it on that 78-yard run. They brought two linebackers. He got up into the secondary and made the free safety miss and went the distance.
Hey, Jim, Mike Ditka. Let me ask you a little bit. You played against the Patriots twice this year, and it seems to me the improvement in their defense has been significant over the second part of the season.
It really has, and it's from last year to this year, and plus they just totally stepped it up in the second half of the season. Playing against New England, first time I played them, they broke my nose. The second time I had to leave with a knee injury, so they're very good, and they've improved their pass coverage a lot, too.
Hey, Jim, this is Joe Gibbs. You want me to choke Ditka once for you? You want me to choke him once for you?
Nah, I love Coach Ditka.
Jim, sometimes the best evaluators of talent are guys that play the same position. Tell us what you see here in Drew Bledsoe.
He's definitely one of the top-notch quarterbacks, one of my favorites to watch. He's so big and tall and strong in the pocket. He's got a great release. You saw the arm strength when he hit Glenn on the first play there, and he's tall enough to see over people. Meggett didn't help him on that one blitz. I thought he pulled up a little bit there, but he's one of the premier guys in the league. Doing a great job with the snap count, too.
Jim, obviously Pittsburgh's going to have to come out and throw the ball here in the second half. You've had a chance to see this New England secondary. Where do you attack?
Well, I think right now the Pittsburgh's probably better going with Mike Tomczak. Mike's not afraid to put the ball into tight situations. He'll get rid of it. He'll throw it. And he's got the capability of making big plays. They're going to have to make plays. They got to throw the ball downfield. I think Tomczak's better suited to do that.
Jim, a year ago we were talking about those amazing Indianapolis Colts knocking people off on their way to the AFC Championship game and coming close to going to the Super Bowl within a whisker, a drop pass in the end zone. I would think that you'd have to make the same analogy with the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. Do they surprise you at all?
Well, I think they surprised everybody but themselves and their fans yesterday. You know, that you can measure a lot of things in football in terms of statistics, wins and losses, but there's one thing you can't measure, and that's heart. And Jacksonville has a lot of that. And, you know, watching these two teams here today, when they were watching the Jacksonville-Denver game yesterday, I'm sure they were rooting for Jacksonville to win that game so they'd have the home field advantage. But like that old saying, you got to be careful what you wish for because it just might come true. And Jacksonville will be coming to town next week for the championship game.
Jimmy, I agree with you putting Mike in there and leaving him in there, but you know Mike as well as I do, and you know, I think we're both pulling him. You think he can bring him back in this game?
I don't know, but I just think that I've seen Tom Zach play, and Mike's got the capability to do it. He's not afraid to throw into tight situations. Sometimes that's caused interceptions for him in the past. But at the same time, he's fearless in throwing the ball downfield. Whether he can bring him back, we'll see.
Jimmy, what is that picture behind you? And did you put that up just for our benefit?
We certainly did.
No, I gotten used to Mike Ditka looking over my shoulder. Kind of gotten used to it.
Hey, tell me something real quick. Do you have Jim Jr. there?
He's downstairs right now.
He looks like a first-round draft choice. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Yeah, 2015, they have him rated as the third best quarterback in the Midwest.
All right, Jim, thanks very much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Our thanks to Jim Harbaugh. We will see him again during our post-game show. We'll take a time out here, and when we come back, we'll talk with our coaches about second-half adjustments. The Patriots lead the Steelers 21-0. First, these words from your local station.
Report brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now.
Welcome back, everyone. Prior to the game today in Foxboro, the national finals of the punt, pass, and kick competition were held for kids age 8 to 15, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. But first, let's talk about the first half of the game today. And Joe, 21-0 score. You have to wonder, is it the Pittsburgh defense that's the problem, or is it just an outstanding New England offense?
I think it's some of both. I think New England's been very well prepared, but let me say this. This is not your normal Pittsburgh performance on defense. Now, the defense is the heart and soul of this team, and what happens to you, all of a sudden the defense is out there, they've given up 133 yards rushing, they've been off sides 3 times, they can't get any pressure on Bledsoe, and they've given up big plays all over the field. I'm telling you, I think when you look at your team and say that's the heart and soul, and all of a sudden they're having a tough time playing a poor first half, the rest of the team they lose their confidence.
Yeah. Chris?
Well, really, I think the story of this game has been the ability of New England's defense to blitz. And the reason that's happened is because in the past few weeks, they've gotten Ty Law and Otis Smith in there at the cornerback position. They were very uncomfortable playing any man coverage and bringing the pressure. But since those two guys have gotten in there and they've been healthy, they've actually been able to bring up 8 men against the run. And this was a team really struggled against the run early in the season, but now they are doing a great job against that run.
Well, there's one thing you can't get away from, Mike. This New England team looks extremely well prepared for the Steelers.
Well, I think, you know, sometimes a bye week can help you, sometimes it can hurt you. It helped them because they prepared for 2 weeks now for Pittsburgh. And I think the other thing that helped them was watching that game against Indianapolis last week. They figured they knew Buffalo well enough. They played them twice. They knew Jacksonville, but they wanted to get all they could get on Pittsburgh, and they got them down pat. I tell you, they've analyzed this defense pretty good and the offense, and they're playing it real well.
You know, one thing you can't get away from, the thing that we were talking about prior to the start of the game, what if Pittsburgh doesn't have a healthy Jerome Bettis to carry the load?
And I think it's been a major impact. There's no question about it. But I was in New England this week, and almost to a man up there, they were extremely confident. They weren't talking about winning this game. They were talking about winning it big. They knew something about this Steelers defense.
Okay. Ask me what I was talking about prior to the game.
What were you talking about prior to the game?
Let me tell you, prior to the game today in Foxboro, the national finals of that punt, pass, and kick competition for kids age 8 to 15 a few moments ago, the winners held an exhibition down on the field, and this is the first year girls and boys competed in separate divisions. The participants split into 4 age brackets. Prior to the competition, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Jeff Blake hosted a skills clinic for the 32 finalists. Amit Ratan from Beaver Creek, Ohio, successfully defended its title in the boys 12 to 13-year-old division. Kendra Wecker made the national finals 2 years ago, competing against boys, won the championship among girls aged 14 to 15. She's from Maryville, Kansas. And a brother-sister act, Sean and Tanya Callahan, were crowned national champs in their respective divisions. They are the pride and joy of Holden, Missouri, population 2,400 strong. A record number of kids, some 500,000, took part in this year's punt, pass, and kick competition. That program is an element of the NFL's Play Football initiative, which provides children with exciting ways to play, watch, and enjoy the game of football. And our congratulations to today's winners and to all of the participants. We are at halftime in New England, where the Patriots lead the Steelers by a score of 21-0. We take you back to Foxboro for the second half, and we'll see you on the postgame show.
And we welcome you back to a fog hit of Foxboro. The Patriots over the Steelers 21-0. If you can see us through the fog, I'm Marv Albert, Randy Cross, Sam Weish. What a surprise, though, the way the Patriots got off at the start.
It really is. And I think Joe Gibbs was absolutely right at halftime. It's kind of like a boxer. You're known for that left jab. Suddenly your left hand's broken. This is a team known for its defense, and right now its defense is broken for Pittsburgh.
Well, you know, big games are not about emotion. They're about execution. But you've got to have some emotion in order to execute well. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, really, they're emotionless, and they're not executing.
Let's check out the halftime statistic. Look at the Coors Light halftime stats. And as you might expect, it is all New England. 10 first downs. So look at the rushing, 129 to 67. Passing yards, 119 to 24. And total yards in command. Meggett and Brown are back deep as Norm Johnson of the Steelers will kick it off. Curtis Martin, a 2-yard touchdown run. Bledsoe to Byers on a 34-yard touchdown pass, and Martin went 78 yards for the other score. This is Troy Brown with the return. Able to weave his way up near the 35-yard line. A 24-yard return by Brown. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you, Marv. I spoke to Bill Cowher, the head coach of the Steelers. He said it is not a lack of effort, it's a lack of execution. We must execute much better in the second half. I said, what did you say to your team? He said, guys, it's very simple. They got 21 in the first half. We need 21 or more, or we're going home. Marv?
All right, Jim. Drew Bledsoe, 8 of 15, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he began hitting on his first 7 passes. Opens up the second half with the pass to Curtis Martin, but he's stopped by Jerry Olszewski. Let's check in with Beasley Reese.
Thanks a lot, Marv. I spoke to Bill Parcells. He said, remember, guys, he told his team, these guys are champions. They will make a run in the second half. I also asked him if he was surprised at the lack of pressure from Pittsburgh. He said that they were in shock early, but he expects more blitzing now. Marv, back to you.
All right, thank you, Beasley. 2nd down and 7. New England from their 35-yard line. On the draw, it is Martin. And he's stopped by Kevin Henry. Picked up a yard on the play. In the first half, Curtis Martin set a Patriot franchise record for most yards in a single playoff game. He did it in the first half. Of course, the Patriots have not been involved in that many playoff games during the course of their history. Jerome Bettis playing with that severe groin injury, 12 rushes, 38 yards. A 3rd and 8 from the 37-yard line. 88 Glenn in motion, and a flag is thrown. Bledsoe's pass is dropped by Glenn.
That was an audible that time. The tight end shifted down, and then Glenn came in motion. I don't think the tight end was set. That's the penalty. 2 men moving at the same time.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving at the same time. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Very nicely captured.
There's an echo in here. Actually, that was designed. There was a hole in the middle of the defense. They read whatever they've been studying on film. He called the right play because there was a wide open Terry Glenn in the middle. He dropped it, however.
And Tom Tupa into punt from his 21-yard line. Jaheen Arnold, the rookie from Fresno State, back at his 21. It is angled once again. Here's Arnold at the 15, putting on a series of fakes, but nowhere to go. Ray Lucas on on the coverage. A 50-yard punt and a beauty by Tupa.
By AT&T, your true choice. By Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By DirecTV, satellite TV at its best. And by Dean Witter, there are many ways to measure success. We measure it one investor at a time.
It is a lovely, foggy day in New England. The Pittsburgh Steelers back to the offense. Mike Tomczak, only 6 of 13, 46 yards, handing off to Jerome Bettis as they start out from the 17-yard line. One of the major stories in the first half, the quarterback pressure, but it was New England doing it to Pittsburgh.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. They are out-Steelering the Steelers. And you do that by intimidating the opposition's quarterback, no matter which one it is.
Excellent play by the Patriots. Not the same kind of play we've seen from the Steelers.
And Jerome Bettis headed to the sideline for a 2nd down and 5 at the 22-yard line. John Whitman, the rookie from Penn State, number 38, has checked in for Bettis. And this is Whitman running well, accelerating, has the first down across the 35-yard line. He went for 14, stopped by Lawyer Malloy and Willie Clay.
Hey, remember something like Bill Cowher told Jim Gray earlier, coordination and timing of the plays. That also applies to offense and the blocking up front. And here, look at the blocking by Strolzik and Dawson. That's coordination.
You know, they told us yesterday that John Whitman reminded him a little bit of Bettis. You could see it right there in that run.
He's a guy who likes to pound the defenders the way Bettis does. More of a fullback than a tailback. Tomczak able to find the tight end Botkin, who is reaching for the marker. Mark Wheeler on the stop. Kirk Botkin with his 2nd catch of the game.
You can see the energy level actually coming up now with the Steelers. They're starting to do some things, mixing their plays up and making things happen every play. Look at the reach right there, just making something else. More effort showing up.
And a first down at the 47-yard line. Jerome Bettis remaining on the sideline. A question mark coming into today because of that groin injury. Tomczak getting the protection, sets up the screen for Whitman. Well covered, though, by the Patriots. Stopped at the 45 by Wheeler. All right, for more on Jerome Bettis, who is over at the bench area, let's go to Jim.
All right, well, Marv, he also had a bad right ankle, which he twisted a couple of weeks ago, a couple plays ago. He twisted it again, re-aggravated it, told the trainers he's all right and he should be able to return. Dick, Marv.
Dick will be here next week for the AFC Championship game.
It's been a long week for Jim.
Jim has no idea where he is today in the fog. The 2nd down and 12 at the 45. Draw play does not work. Whitman is stopped in his tracks.
And it's McGinnis that gets the Marv. Watch McGinnis come off the near corner. Lined up in his pass rush position. Arm rip under Jackson. Forget about it.
I tell you, all day today, the combination of Willie McGinnis and Chris Slade has paid off for Bill Parcells. It's a little coaching decision he made going into this ball game. Slade over Dwayne's side.
3rd down and 16 for the Steelers from their 41. Willie McGinnis with 9.5 sacks for the season. Tomczak trying to run out of trouble. Is hit down at midfield. Well short of the first down. Picked up 10 on the play. Met by the left corner, Ty Law. And once again, the busy Josh Miller will come into punt.
You know, Bill Cowher said coming out of the 2nd half, told Jim Gray that they can't give up any more big plays. Well, they can't give up any more big plays on defense as well. You know, when they're on offense, when the defense is making a big play, that's just as damaging as when the offense makes a big play against you.
Well, they need 2 things. They need somebody to really start getting it going on offense, and they need to attack like a dog on defense. They got to have big plays from their D.
8th punt of the day for Miller. Meggett is back. Dives to make the catch. Very tricky out there now. 35-yard punt. Patriots back to the offense. They lead it 21-0. 9:31 remaining in the third quarter. New England 21 and Pittsburgh nothing. As the Patriots start out 1st and 10 from their 15-yard line. On the draw, Curtis Martin stopped by the nose tackle, number 93, Joel Steed. Well, Drew Bledsoe able to connect on his first 7 passes. A terrific start, but he has missed on 8 of his last 9. He's been incomplete, so 8 of 16, 127 yards. Overall, this has been a career season for Drew. 27 touchdowns, 3rd best in the NFL. His last 2 games, though, unimpressive in Dallas. Had a tough first half against the Giants 2 weeks ago and then turned it around, and he's been hearing it all week that here's another big game and he has to prove himself. Terry Glenn, the intended receiver. Bill Johnson got a piece of it.
And Marv, Jason Gilden was right there too, the linebacker. You talk about Drew Bledsoe. Yes, he passed the test in Part A, but I tell you what, there's plenty of time to flunk some tests here as the ball was tipped. Look at what a morsel was in front of that linebacker, Sam.
Well, a pass he shouldn't have thrown. He actually, the tip, of course, makes it look even worse. But you've got to be careful down here that you don't give Pittsburgh a chance to get back in the game without earning it.
3rd down and 7. They're at their 18-yard line. And Bledsoe completes to Ben Coates for the 1st down. Tackled by Figures and Oldham.
Ben Coates had a big game against him last year, 11 receptions. This time he's the primary receiver. Just a little read, outbreak. It's a timing throw all the way. And he catches that. Tight ends catch a lot of balls in their body because of the nature of the patterns they run. But watch this. All hands right there pulling that one in.
And Sam, the reason a tight end is able to catch 96 balls as he did a couple of years ago is he catches a lot of them with his hands and doesn't let them bounce off his chest first.
1st and 10. For the Patriots at their 26-yard line. The pitch, fake reverse, and it is Meggett. Check that. Martin stopped by Henry and Kirkland.
You know, getting back to Drew Bledsoe just a second. Bill Parcells called him in the office this week, sat him down and said, look, don't be worried about this big game, big play. You've got to make things happen. Just play your football game. You've won big games. You haven't failed at the big games. Just because they lost a couple of games along the way, those become big games that are lost.
But how much of that is Bill Parcells trying to pump his young guy up going into a playoff game?
A lot of it, and it's deserved. That's what he should be doing.
2nd down and 5. Yes, Bill changing the approach with Drew Bledsoe in recent weeks. And Bledsoe able to complete to Sean Jefferson, who was covered by Rod Woodson. It is another New England 1st down. First catch for Jefferson.
Excuse me. He is a winner. This guy wins football games. Got 11 wins against the 5 losses. You can't have 11 wins without having some big wins along the way.
And also, when you look at Drew Bledsoe for the rest of this afternoon, because you know Pittsburgh's going to come after him, they are going to blitz him, and watch him in the pocket and how he stands in there. He was blitzed a lot in those 5 losses where his numbers didn't look good.
It is a 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. And Bledsoe's pass intercepted, picked off by Chad Brown.
And this is exactly what Bill Parcells wants Drew Bledsoe to do right now. You're not talking about not losing a football game. You're talking about keeping your composure, staying within the design of the plays, and not throwing an interception, a turnover that puts them back into place.
But watch what Chad Brown does, Sam. And there's certain passes you try to fit into a slot, and there's other passes you try to put up with a peanut vendor. No one is around that one. That one belongs up with a peanut vendor.
2nd interception thrown by Bledsoe, is facing the pressure from number 93, Joel Steed, and a 1st down at the New England 37-yard line. Tomczak off the pump fake. Oh, a leaping catch by Andre Hastings in front of the strong safety, Lawyer Malloy.
Okay, we're watching experience jump right in the middle of this football game right now. The Steelers have been outplayed to this point, but experience will keep you in the ball game. Veteran teams stay in the ball game all 4 quarters, and they make a play like this. One play like this can turn it all around.
And one thing playoff games are about, it's not making mistakes and intangibles. An intangible is body language. The Steelers are bouncing.
23-yard hookup and a first down at the New England 14-yard line. Tomczak off the roll with the shovel pass to Bettis. And Bettis able to break tackles. Gets inside the 15-yard line. Taken down by Ty Law.
Marv, you called that perfectly. I mean, this guy's got no business not losing a yard or two on that play. I mean, this is set up all right by Pittsburgh, but it's defensed very well by New England. I mean, there's not great blocking out in front. He should be down right around here.
Let's add one more compliment. This guy's playing in a lot of pain. I'll guarantee he's in more pain now than he was at the beginning of this game.
2nd and 9 at the Patriot 13. Tomczak able to swing it, but excellent coverage on Bettis. Did not shake off the Patriots. Willie McGinnis, number 55, able to bring him down.
You notice a sense of urgency now from the Steelers. You know why? You mentioned the pain of Jerome Bettis. If you don't win this game, and they know it, they got 6 months to heal up and get ready. It's instant elimination.
Chad Brown on the sideline is watching. They're in the ball game. The veteran football team, if you're on the bench and your counterpart is out there, you're just like they are. Your heart's in it all the way.
And Cordell Stewart is now in the ball game. 4.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Stewart off the roll. Couldn't find anyone. And the series of fakes do not work. Chris Slade cut him off.
You have to go for it on 4th down now. In the first half, I thought they should have kicked the field goal, come away with some points. This time they're making the decision. I would have been in the first half, and they're going to kick the field goal.
Now they're going to kick. You know, Bill Cowher made that decision, and yeah, they should have put the points up. And here, Sam, I think you get those points. You got to have something. They need something, you know, kind of like rock climbing. They need that little ledge to get the fingers on before you try to pull the rest of the body up.
The argument on the other side, though, there's 4 minutes left in this quarter. They got to get more than just 3.
29-yard attempt for Norm Johnson last week against the Colts. He hit a 50-yarder, longest of his season, and this one is good. Norm Johnson from 29 yards away, putting Pittsburgh on the scoreboard.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is their first road playoff game since the 1993 season when they faced Kansas City at Arrowhead and lost. It has not gone well here today in Foxboro, although a moment ago Norm Johnson did kick that 29-yard field goal. They are trailing 21-3. Meggett and Brown are back. And here's Troy Brown with the return. He broke tackles working across the 35. A 28-yard return by Brown. It was stopped by Corey Holiday. We'll be back in a moment.
Cordell Stewart lined up in a wing, comes underneath. Tomczak comes around, and he was going out for a pass. It was going to be a throwback.
It's important to note here that only if you're in the shotgun are you an eligible receiver if you've handled the ball first. You can't be under center and do it. They were in the shotgun that time. As you see, when Cordell Stewart looked back, there was nothing there. He had to run.
And Chad Brown, you talked about him rooting for Bettis. He knew something was up. And it just wasn't enough something.
Down in
well
front.
put. And Bledsoe is taken down by Orpheus Roy, the 6th-round draft pick, rookie from Florida State. 2nd sack of the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Just what this team needs on defense is an executed blitz and stunt that works effectively. That's exactly what that was.
The Patriots said they spent 60% of their practice time on the blitz. Well, right now is when they're going to get a chance to see if they've got it down pat.
They're going to see 90% blitz from here on out.
Absolutely.
Patriots 2nd and 17 back at their 32-yard line. Draw play for Byers. And just a short pickup. Keith Byers, Jason Gilden, Orpheus Roy combined to make that stop.
Guys, did you hear the sideline of Pittsburgh? They're screaming, get the ball, get the ball. That's another thing we'll see a lot of. This defense will start trying to strip and rip balls out to try to get a turnover.
And the way they do that is the first man making contact tries to stand the ball carrier up. 2nd and 3rd people coming in try to take the ball away.
Bill Cowher, born and bred in Pittsburgh, 5 for 5, 5th season as head coach of the Steelers. 5 winning records, 5 playoff appearances. 3rd down and 16 at the 33. Megany in motion. And the play is blown dead.
On the offense, that's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
40-second clock just ran out on him that time. And just a moment ago, we saw that steal the ball attitude that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have the rest of the way. They actually should have had it from play 1. We could hear them up here yelling, steal the ball, steal the ball. First guy stacks him up. Can't hold him up very long right there, but we'll see him actually try to hold the ball carrier up so the other guys can get to it.
3rd down and 21 at the 28-yard line. Bledsoe throwing across the field, able to complete to Sean Jefferson, but he is stopped. Chad Brown, Willie Williams combined to make the tackle, and the Patriots forced to punt. Tom Tupa with his 5th opportunity of the day. Well, the fog did lift momentarily, and now it is making its way right back. It's 48 degrees here in the New England area. It has been a heavy fog most of the game. 1.5 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. And Tupa getting the hang time, handled by Arnold. Shaheen Arnold has nowhere to go. 42-yard punt and a 6-yard return. New England up 21-3. They call slash Cordell Stewart, not able to get anything going to this point. Mike Tomczak is the quarterback. He's 11 of 18 for 75 yards. He has not been able to get anything going. They start from the 36-yard line. And Tomczak's pass picked off by Lawyer Malloy. The strong safety, Lawyer Malloy, with the leaping interception. The pass intended for Andre Hastings.
And if you were listening at halftime, Jim Harbaugh said the reason he thought Tomczak was going to be in the game was he's not afraid to jam in the ball. Well, here's what happens when you jam it in the wrong place.
Lawyer Malloy got a great jump on that ball right there. Had 2 interceptions during the regular season, and this time he just anticipates the throw. It's a roll-up. You can see Ty Law's running with him, but he has safety help.
1:20 to go in this 3rd quarter. And Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots back on the field. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Curtis Martin with a change of direction, met by Jason Gilden and Jerry Olszewski. There's Lawyer Malloy, rookie from the University of Washington, a 2nd-round draft pick, took over as the starter at strong safety midway through the season.
And the rarest, Marv, of a rookie defensive back that's an impact player defensively, makes the big plays.
2nd and 7 at the 42, final minute of the 3rd quarter. Martin on the slant, able to break a tackle and reaches out for the 1st down. Oliver Gibson, Jerry Olszewski, Kevin Henry all involved on that stop.
And they all seem to have at least one shot, at least with an arm at him.
It was a gamble just this early, but it lets everything.
Or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Welcome back to Foxboro. Well, today the National Football League hosted the national finals of the 1996 NFL Gatorade Punt, Pass, and Kick program. Let's go down to the field now for the presentation of awards to the 8 national champions.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the champions for the 96 NFL Gatorade Punt, Pass, and Kick National Finals Competition. Presenting the awards are Gene Washington, Director of Football Development of the National Football League. Greg Vye, Director of Sports Marketing, representing the Gatorade Company. Doug Kelly, President of Pro Player. And Jeff Blake, the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. Beginning with our youngest competitors. In the 8 to 9-year-old boys division, the winner is Matt Talley of Fostoria, Ohio. In the 8 to 9-year-old girls, the winner is Christy Zananti of Pueblo, Colorado. 10 to 11-year-old boys, the winner is Philip Darty of Decatur, Texas. 10 to 11-year-old girls, the winner is Tanya Callahan of Holden, Missouri. 12 and 13-year-old boys, the winner is Amit Ratan of Beaver Creek, Ohio. 12 and 13-year-old girls, the winner is Jessica Pruitt of Whitesboro, Texas. 14 and 15-year-old boys, the winner, Sean Callahan of Holden, Missouri. And 14 and 15-year-old girls winner is Kendra Wecker of Marysville, Kansas. These 8 youngsters are the first place winners in each of their respective age divisions from today's NFL Gatorade Punt, Pass, and Kick National Finals Competition.
And congratulations to the 8 youngsters. You know, as a youth, Sam took part in this competition, Randy, but he's a former quarterback, but only entered the punt and kick phase, refused the pass sequence.
I had my hands over my ears. I don't know what you said.
We are on to the 4th quarter with New England leading Pittsburgh 21-3. And it has come down to this for Bill Cowher and the Steelers. The winner of this divisional playoff will go out of the AFC Championship game here on NBC next Sunday, facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bledsoe took a pop as he completes, finding Sean Jefferson. It all starts next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on NBC. Jefferson with his 3rd catch. It is just shy of a first down.
And what a difference, too. You saw Bledsoe. He stood in there like a rock. He saw that blitz coming. It was right in his face, and he delivered that ball perfectly to Jefferson.
2nd down and 1 at the 41-yard line. New England, 290 total yards. They got to it right at the start. First 2 series jumping in front, 14-0 early. So a lot of jumping. There's the flag. Curtis Martin, the ball carrier, met by Jerry Olszewski and Carnell Lake.
And we're starting to see more blitz. But, you know, I'm a believer that it's the best combination of players.
On the defense, number 91. That's a 5-yard penalty resulting in a first stop.
The best combination of players win games on either side of the ball. Brinson Buckner is out of this ball game. Bill Johnson has 1 assist in the entire ball game. Buckner is like the coach on the field. He kind of organizes. Even a blitz like that is something that he would organize. The other thing that I think is happening, too, is Bledsoe's doing a great job with the snap count. He's not letting them get in rhythm.
Oliver Gibson was called on that penalty. A first down at the 36. Martin. Curtis Martin, who has run so well, stopped by Jason Gilden. Curtis Martin grew up in Pittsburgh, rooted for the Steelers as a youngster. But he liked to watch running backs like Walter Payton and Tony Dorsett, and there are similarities to the style of Dorsett and Curtis Martin, the way Martin is so elusive, so shifty.
Sort of the glider type. You know, they don't so much tear into a hole as they just sort of be there and then explode.
133 yards, 16 rushes, 2nd down and 5 at the 31. And again, it is Martin. And has a first down. Perry and Olszewski on the tackle.
This is when championship teams start to show their championship quality. They have a lead. It's in the 4th quarter. They're using all the clock, and they're keeping it on the ground, and the defense knows they're going to keep it on the ground, and they still make yards.
And he makes those yards behind a veteran offensive lineman. William Roberts pulled from that left guard position, and you know, you didn't see much being there, but you saw a lot of that speed and explosion when he ran through it.
140 yards on 17 carries, including 2 touchdowns for Martin. And the Patriots have a first down at the Steeler 23. Martin, what a move! Curtis Martin in for his 3rd touchdown.
I tell you what that sets up as. That play was stuffed onside, Sam. Darren Perry blitzed from his strong safety position, got way upfield, and couldn't cut that cutback off. And now it's just explosion and speed, and you know, that's worst case scenario. That's a series of nails in the coffin for the Steelers.
They gambled on offense, had the interception, they gambled with the blitz, and the Pats broke it.
And here's Adam Vinatieri. He adds the extra point. Another look at the moves by Martin. 23 yards for the touchdown, his third of the day.
Jeep, makers of the new award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee. By Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure. And by American Express. Help support the American Express Charge Against Hunger program.
It is a festive atmosphere here in Foxboro, only the second playoff game the Patriots have ever hosted, and they are in command over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The kickoff from Vinatieri. Cordell Stewart is back, along with Ernie Mills. Fake handoff on a reverse, but Mills holds onto the ball. And that's the best return of the day for the Steelers. Vinatieri, the kicker, had to make the stop. What a day for Curtis Martin. 164 yards on 18 carries, 3 touchdowns. That is first from short range. And now with a beautiful move, Martin was able to go 78 yards to extend to a 21-0 lead. And just moments ago, 23 yards on the ground to extend to 28-3 Patriots. And the completion to Ernie Mills. Remember last year, after Curtis Martin got off to a good start first couple of games, and Bill Parcells said, hey, let's not induct him to the Hall of Fame in Canton, not just yet.
Well, let me just tell you, we see one expression there with Bill Cowher and Greg Lloyd. The other expression with Bill Parcells is what makes all of the hard times worth it. Those moments after a big play.
2nd and 3 at the 47-yard line. McAfee getting the call.
You know, leading into this game, guys, everybody talked about a great offensive line, and it was Pittsburgh's. Everybody talked about a great defense, and it was Pittsburgh's. Everybody talked about an unbelievable running back having a little injury problem. It was Jerome Bettis, and it was Pittsburgh's. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, the wrong everything has showed up today.
And on the first down play from the 48-yard line, that was nearly picked off by Otis Smith. Well, this is a Pittsburgh team that won big last week, able to explode in the second half to knock off the Colts in the playoff game, but they had dropped 3 of their last 4 regular season games and did not score more than 17 points in each of those last 4 games. So they have been struggling coming into the playoffs. 2nd and 10 at the 48. 11:24 remaining in the 4th quarter. McAfee, the intended receiver. Fred McAfee, the 6-year man from Mississippi College, noted in the past for the most part for his special teams play.
And they continue to struggle. This ball just gets away. 4th quarter for Mike Tomczak is not his strong suit. A 44% completion and the rating of 38. That's way down. I can just tell you this, that it's important for the playoff teams to be playing well at playoff time, not to be playing well at any other time during the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just having a rough day.
Mike Tomczak tailed off after a good start earlier this season. 3rd down and 10. It's completed but short of the first down. The catch by Mills in front of Henderson.
And if you're handing out, you know, accolades of what's happened so far, you can get carried away. And Curtis Martin's played great, and so has his offensive line. And Drew Bledsoe stepped up. Let's not forget about the invisible men. That New England defense has been a huge factor in this ball game.
Well, the Steelers on a 4th down and 3, going for it. Tomczak able to complete to McAfee, has a first down and taken out of bounds at the 31 by Henderson, and Brown picked up 9.
We're in 4-down territory for the rest of the game unless they're really backed up. Got to score a lot of points, and they're going to be in the air. This gives the defense, those invisible men that you referred to, a chance to abandon the run worry and just go right after that quarterback.
And Tomczak's pass incomplete. A hard hit put on Jaheen Arnold by Otis Smith.
You know, and also, though, guys, at what point do you get maybe a little bit too soft defensively? You've gotten to this point by attacking an offense that didn't expect to be attacked, and Bill Parcells' defense right now, the last few plays, has looked a lot softer in the zone look.
You saw the expression on Bill Parcells' face? Expression on all coaches' faces. It never changes. You stay tough. He'll make sure they stay tough.
2nd and 10 at the Patriot 31. And Tomczak's pass is caught at the 25 by Hastings.
Excuse me, Marv. I thought Bill Parcells made a interesting observation that happiness is a relative term to coaches at this time of the season, and it is to all coaches. You're never happy enough.
3rd down and 4. Andre Hastings stopped by Corwin Brown, but it is a 1st down for the Steelers.
So you're saying that, though, outside he's looking, oh no, inside he's going, oh yay, yay.
Well, does that look like the face of the coach leading 28-3?
And a 1st down at the 20-yard line. McAbee with a short pickup. It'll be a 2nd and 5 down at the 15-yard line. 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Tomczak's pass intended for Corey Holiday. 2nd-year man from North Carolina, had only 1 reception during the regular season. It brings up a 3rd down and 5 at the New England 15-yard line.
And there's still a lot of time in this ball game right here. Just keep working and get another score and see what happens in this thing. This is not desperation, Hail Mary time yet.
Now they're still at the stage, Sam, where they're looking for a matchup.
11th play of the drive. And Tomczak is hit hard and is picked off. Intercepted by Willie Clay. Oh, he took a shot. And Willie Clay was fielding that blue pass.
Wow, just when we were saying, oh, they're looking soft, they were in a 3-man line before. Here they come, right at the right time. The very end into the back of the legs.
Just lays that ball up there. I thought he got hit right as he released it. It took something off the ball, but I believe he got the ball off clean. There's pressure on him. There's pressure coming. Let's see if he gets the ball off or if he gets tagged. Yeah, it does. It gets him right from behind. And that leaves the ball in the air way too long for Willie Clay.
9:04 remaining in the 4th.
Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot, delicious Domino's pizza during the game. For hot wow, call Domino's now.
Oh, they love it here in Foxboro. Capacity crowd, better than 60,000 turning out as the New England Patriots are looking to advance to the AFC Championship game, winning a playoff game for the first time in 11 years. The Jacksonville Jaguars waiting in the wings. Mario Greer getting the call for the first time, stopped by Brown and Kirkland a moment ago. The interception by Willie Clay.
Straight drop back pass, just gets pressure from the backside, which takes everything off the throw. Willie Clay actually catches this one in the end zone. Could have taken a knee. I think he thought he might run that one all the way back.
And there's he's congratulating Dwayne Saab, the linebacker from the backside that got into the back of Tomczak's legs.
Willie Clay, one-time member of the Detroit Lions, 5th season from Georgia Tech. 2nd and 9 at the 16-yard line with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the 4th. Again, Greer, Mario Greer, a rookie, a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. The Patriots using him at both fullback and running back, averaged just under 4 yards per carry during the regular season. And it brings up a 3rd and 6 at the 19-yard line as time is winding down on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and a host of questions with a number of free agents following this season. There's the big one, Jerome Bettis, who was very quick to point that out to us last night, that he is an unrestricted free agent. Off the play fake, Bledsoe finds Byers, and he has a first down. Met by Woodson and Olszewski.
You have to be impressed with the poise and the cool and the execution of this offense for the New England Patriots. When they've needed to make something happen, they have made something happen.
Using all of the clock, all the 40 seconds. You know, going back to the free agency situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers, it seems like every year they have that. Last year, of course, Neil O'Donnell, Kevin Green, they come back and find a way to win.
Chad Brown, don't forget the linebacker Chad Brown's a free agent.
And a 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. And this is Curtis Martin, who has had a terrific day. Well, tonight on Dateline, nature slams the Northwest with devastating floods and landslides. Homes and lives are swept away as desperate people hang on for dear life. What's the cause of all this wild weather? Well, the answer's later tonight on Dateline, right here on NBC. It'll be a 2nd down and 8 at the 30-yard line. On the subject of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the other major factor is they were hit with a number of key injuries this season, right from opening day when Greg Lloyd went down for the season. Mario Greer stopped back behind the line. Lloyd getting hurt against Jacksonville in the season opener. Ray Seals, torn rotator cuff. Yancey Thigpen. Tight end Mark Bruner out. Ernie Mills missed a good portion of the season, coming back from knee surgery. Running back Eric Pegram, who opened up the year alternating with Jerome Bettis, also injured. So it's been a very difficult stretch, yet the Steelers have managed to go 10 up and 6 down in the regular season and making it to the playoffs. 3rd down and 8 at the 30. .5:25 remaining in this 4th quarter. This is Meggett. And the Patriots just trying to run the clock down. Steed and Kirkland combined to make the stop.
We're going to start to see some substituting here too, Marv, because this is that time of the game that you start to save a few people for next week.
Timeout is called by the Steelers. New England 28, Pittsburgh 3. All right, Tom Tupa getting set to punt with 5 minutes 10 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Flag has been thrown. Jaheen Arnold on the return up to the 25 and carries across the 30, taken down by Todd Collins. 51-yard punt, 10-yard return. But here is Bernie Kukar. It is against the Patriots.
Illegal motion, number 15 on the kicking team, moving forward at the snap. The penalty is declined. First down.
Well, Ray Lucas has done a good job in coverage. Scott Zolak limbering up and apparently getting set to come on for Drew Bledsoe. Scott Zolak, 6th year out of Maryland. Bledsoe's numbers: 14 of 2,464 yards, 1 touchdown, picked off twice. Certainly did the job. All the questions coming into today. Opened up red hot, completing his first 7 passes, got the Patriots off to the big lead early. Cordell Stewart is back at quarterback. It is incomplete.
Marv, you talked about Drew Bledsoe. You know, what really impressed me about him today is, sure, he made a couple of mistakes on those little screen passes that were intercepted, but played very well within himself. Never at any point was he trying to force things or really step out there and say, I got to do this. He never did that. He stayed inside.
Well, Cordell is now 0 for 5. Cordell Stewart. And Mike Tomczak not able to get anything going. A 2nd down and 10 at the 30-yard line. We're just under 5 minutes left in this 4th quarter. Stewart facing the pressure and trying to run it out of trouble is submarine across the 35 by Jerome Henderson.
As you watch this, you wonder if
This is the future look of the Pittsburgh Steelers right here with Cordell Stewart as their quarterback from the get-go. And next year they'll have a training camp. They'll have competition at quarterback like all teams do. But I would think he has the pole position going into camp next year.
Remember, they opened the season in Jacksonville with Jim Miller as the starting quarterback, and then Bill Cowher made the change to Mike Tomczak, who played well in the early going. A little mix-up there as the pitch goes to Whitman, and he's taken down by Corwin Brown.
You know, guys, one thing we have to think back to was the beginning of the game. This is a quarterback for New England in Bledsoe and a defense that came in with kind of a, not a chip on their shoulder, but they had something to prove in a big game, because we talked a lot about, you know, challenge games and how they haven't done much, and they haven't done much at all in the big games. And, well, this team has stepped up and proven that they belong in big games.
Remember when you asked Drew Bledsoe about the blitz? He said,
blitz? What blitz?
What are we talking about here? He has matured, that's for sure.
And here's Josh Miller punting to Dave Meggett. 42-yard punt by Miller. New England 28, Pittsburgh 3. We'll be right back. To Foxboro, Marv Albert, Randy Cross, Sam Weiss, Jim Gray, Beasley Reese on the sideline, and Scott Zolak has joined us on the field, taking over for Drew Bledsoe with 4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter, and Mario Greer gets the call. Well, the challenge coming into today, Drew Bledsoe had not played well in the so-called big games against Denver and Dallas late in the season, and we talked about that regarding today's game. And we'll get to that response in just a moment. 2nd and 9 at the 23-yard line with 3.5 to go in this fourth quarter. Scott Zolak, who has been New England's backup since back in 1991. Here's Mario Greer, taken down by Olszewski and Henry. Here's the response by Bledsoe regarding stepping up for the so-called challenge games.
I've got to step up, and you know, that's how you judge. How do you play in a big game? And so you know, I've got to play my best when these opportunities arise.
Well, he certainly did make the move in that direction today. 14 of 24, 164 yards and a touchdown. Got it going early with that 53-yard completion to Terry Glenn. They led 14-0 early in the first, 21-0 at the half, and they are leading here 28-3 as they look ahead to the Jacksonville Jaguars next Sunday in the AFC Championship game, and it will be played here in Foxboro. One of the other factors here today, home field advantage for next week. Now, Jacksonville and New England did meet back on September the 22nd. The Patriots jumping to a 22-0 lead here in Foxboro, but were victimized by a couple of Hail Marys, one at the end of each half. At overtime, it was Adam Vinatieri who was able to pull it out. Vinatieri kicking his 5th field goal to give the Patriots the win, 28-25. So they had to hold on for the victory. Some of the numbers back on September the 22nd. Bledsoe 27 of 44, 255 yards in a duel with Mark Brunell, who went 23 of 39, 432 yards.
And Brunell put those great numbers up yesterday against Denver. Natron Means, who wasn't much of a factor in that game, if at all, was a huge factor yesterday. The challenges don't get any smaller for the defense of the New England Patriots.
And Zolak to the sideline for Myers. Kirkland able to make the stop. Well, next Sunday, right here on NBC, starting 3:30 Eastern Time. Coverage begins with Ray Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, and Ahmad Rashad previewing the big game. The AFC Championship game next Sunday right here. Dick Enberg, Paul McGuire, Phil Simms will bring it to you from Foxboro. Gene Arnold back, 7th punt for Tom Tupa as we approach 2 minutes remaining of the game. And Arnold
was taken down at the 37-yard line, hit down by Todd Collins. 38-yard punt, short return. And so Pittsburgh back to the offense.
You know, Marv, we were talking a little bit earlier about Jerome Bettis and all the free agents that come due at the end of every year. And with free agency, every team is going to have 6, 7, 8 players that they'd like to have back, but they're not going to be able to keep them. But Jerome Bettis is one of those key players. You've got key players on every team. Well, here's one of them. He's injured today. They haven't had a good day. That's a factor. It's part of the reason.
Well, remember, he came into this season, if he got 1,200 yards rushing or more, he became an unrestricted free agent and was a meal ticket getting a run behind that offensive line of the Steelers.
And today, Bettis carried 13 times for 44 yards. An obvious pain from that groin injury. Pass intended for Arnold, but what a year it's been for Bettis. Very nice to be an unrestricted free agent as he finished third in the NFL in rushing, 1,431 yards. Acquired from the Rams back on draft day. Coming off the disappointing season, his first 2 years with the Rams, he was Pro Bowl. He's back to the Pro Bowl this season. 2nd and 10 at the 38-yard line with 2:15 remaining. Cordell Stewart able to break a tackle and then works his way to the sideline at midfield for a first down. Chased out by Jerome Henderson. He went for 11 yards. Well, I guess with New England advancing and remaining alive for yet another week, it will put to rest the Bill Parcells speculation, at least for the moment.
You mean the ante might be going up?
That too. But certainly the speculation continues. Will he re-sign eventually with the Patriots? And it seems to have a domino effect. You get the idea there are a number of teams out there waiting to see which direction Parcells goes. Pass intended for Charles Johnson.
And it's not so much, Marv, that he is interested or possibly going to go there.
Right.
It's the other people involved around the league, or, whether it's one of his former assistant coaches, a Jim Fossil, or if it's all these other guys that are mentioned for head coaching jobs. It seems like those couple of key ones are holding on for him.
Well, his contract expires January 31st. He and owner Bob Kraft have not had a wonderful relationship, although both call it professional. And several teams extremely interested in seeing what direction Bill will go. Will he stay here? Will he head elsewhere? Andre Hastings on the reception. And there is the 2-minute warning. 28-3 the score. It is a 3rd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. A 28-3 lead for the Patriots, who are headed to the AFC Championship game. It is ruled incompleted. Cordell Stewart 0 for 9. And Bill Parcells congratulating his players. Well, with the dollar sign, save the tuna. There was a report in yesterday's New York Post that the Jets, now this is just a newspaper report, but it said the Jets are prepared to offer $10 million guaranteed for 3 years, and that would include total control of the operation. The Jets would not comment, and Bill Parcells would not comment. In fact, Bill has not been talking about these matters for the last couple of weeks.
So what you're trying to say is, as a hedge against inflation, tuna futures aren't bad.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes.
I'll put it another way. We talk about free agency in this league. We talk about the players. Coaches, if they're hot, when their contract is up, they are as sought after and as valuable as other free agent football players. And Bill Parcells is really finding himself in the ideal situation. His team's playing well. He's an excellent coach, obviously. But with that contract up, which he shortened a year ago with Bob Kraft, has certainly paid off for him.
Hey, what a great circumstance of the whole weekend. A great job by Bill Parcells and his staff here. And you can't say enough about the great job Tom Coughlin and his staff did yesterday in Denver. Talk about having 2 football teams ready to play, and they'll be butting heads next week.
And the Patriots taking over on downs. Tom Coughlin and Bill Parcells also have had a very close relationship over the years. How about the Patriots starting the season at 0-2? The Jaguars started at 3-6, and one of those two teams will make it to the Super Bowl. Down to 1:20. And the Patriots running the clock down. There is the owner of the New England Patriots enjoying the moments, Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft down on the field as he has another home game coming up. The AFC Championship will be played here in Foxboro next Sunday.
Yeah, with all that excitement and the organization that Bob Kraft is building, the long term, you have this expression by Bill Cowher. A good year, a good football team. 5 years he's taken a team to the playoff, but a loss like this almost destroys all of those good memories, at least for the moment.
Well,
So final, isn't it, Randy?
Another late afternoon shot of a head coach in utter shock and disbelief. Yesterday it was Mike Shanahan. Today it's Bill Cowher, because he did not expect this type of performance specifically out of the offense and defense of the New England Patriots to dominate such as they have.
And the Patriots are headed to the AFC Championship game for only the second time in their history. They advanced to the AFC Championship game, winning a playoff game for the first time in 11 years. Led by Drew Bledsoe and Curtis Martin. Martin with 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. And time has run out on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bill Parcells and his Patriots will face the Jacksonville Jaguars, who come off the stunner yesterday at Mile High in Denver. That is the AFC title matchup next Sunday, starting at 3:30 Eastern, right here on NBC. A 28-3 pounding by the Patriots. Drew Bledsoe got it going early on that 53-yard pass to Terry Glenn, which led to the touchdown by Curtis Martin. Then a 34-yard screen pass to Byers for a 14-0 lead, and Pittsburgh never in it. The New England Patriots have defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Bill Cowher is alongside our Jim Gray. Let's go to Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Bill, we talked at halftime. It was the big plays that were really the difference in this game. Those 3 big plays in the first half. It was 21-0, hard to overcome.
Yeah, get my hat goes off to Bill and New England. They came out, played with a lot of emotion, and they were a better team today, Jim. We just we didn't have enough, and I just told them that they were the better team.
Could you have predicted this? You guys totally dominated Indianapolis last week, and then today, what happened?
Well, I'm telling you, there's such a fine line in this business between the top team and the bad team, and 1 or 2 plays can take momentum like you saw with us, and it's a game of momentum, and really is. And like I said, there's a fine line between the top teams, and you know, we came out short. We didn't get any today. They did. The crowd got into it. We couldn't overcome it.
It's awful difficult to repeat, isn't it?
Well, we made a run at it. Yeah, we made a run at it, and I'm proud of these guys. They fought to the end. We had a lot of injuries this year, but they never quit. I'm very proud of this group.
Unable at any point today to find any offensive momentum. What was the problem? Why couldn't you guys get on track?
I wish I knew. If I'd known, I would have solved it a lot earlier.
Bill, it's gracious of you to take the time. Let's send it back upstairs to Marv Albert.
All right, thank you, Jim. So the defending AFC champions are headed home. The New England Patriots advance to the AFC Championship game. A convincing victory by the count of 28-3. Let's check in now with Beasley Reese and Curtis Martin. Beasley?
All right, thanks a lot. Curtis, congratulations. You set a record for playoff for the Patriots with your rushing today. How did it feel, and how proud are you of this organization?
I can't even explain it. The offensive line, everyone did a good job. We were in the locker room. Everything we prayed for came true. God truly blessed us. We got a lot of guys on the team who had faith and just wouldn't give up and came out here and played with all our heart, and we got the job done, and we're all grateful.
Curtis, 3 touchdowns. I mean, did you ever envision having a day like this in the biggest game of the year?
Well, during the whole week, I was so hyped up that the coaches were scared. You know, they were worried about me, whether I was going to be able to focus in the game. And like I said, that's what I prayed, that I would take all that energy and be able to focus on the game. And like I said, we had a blessed game.
Now, look to the Jaguars quickly. How excited are you? They're coming here. Were you surprised that they were able to win?
Well, anybody can win in the NFL. no one's that good that they can't be beat. And they played a good game, and we'll be looking forward to hosting them next week here.
Thank you, Curtis. Let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Beasley. Well, the other guy who scored a touchdown today, Keith Byers, standing right here. Keith, you were able to break their back so early. What happened? 6 plays and 14 points in that first quarter.
Oh, it was a great play. First, giving honor to God, who all blessings flow. Pittsburgh is a good team. They're defending AFC champions, so they weren't going to go down easy. But they got sort of a bully-type mentality. They come in and just out-physical everybody. And the way you treat a bully, you come and throw the first punch first, and that's what we did. We got them in our backyard, and we just told them we was going to stand up and be more physical with they was, and we were.
You told me before the game you were determined to win one of these fog bowls. You were on the losing end when you played in Chicago. You were with the Eagles. How much was this reminiscent of that? It was very difficult to see at times, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. I had an eerie feeling when I first woke up this morning, then I got into the stadium. It was even more fog. But when we messed up when I was in Philadelphia, we didn't score first. And they jumped on us and the fog got worse. I was making sure we got out to a good start today in case the fog got worse, to take the fog out of the equation.
How about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Were you surprised at their win yesterday against the Broncos? And what about playing them? You had a 22-point lead and gave it up, and they came back and fought you to overtime.
You know, nothing surprises me. You know, I've been saying all along, you know, from the midway during the season, everybody was anointing Denver to go. But you don't win the football games in the media. You win them on the football field, and Jacksonville did exactly that. You know, they did the same thing last week in Buffalo, so we know we got a formidable task coming in next weekend. They're going to come in and play hard.
Keith, congratulations to you. It's been a long road since you started with the Dolphins.
Oh, it sure has. But sometimes the Lord closes one door so he can open another. And hallelujah.
All right. Let's now go over to the happy owner of the Patriots with Will McDonough. Will?
Well, thanks very much, Bob Kraft. I talked with you in your office today. I've never seen you more confident before a game. Why?
Well, it was a great routine. I called my mom. She wished me well. But I went down the locker room, saw Coach Parcells, gave him a big hug. He reached in his locker. He says, I got something you're going to like. It was a high button, which means good luck and good wishes and life. And he had it backwards. We flipped it around, put it in his pocket, and then I saw all the great players. They just had a look about them that was different today, Willie. And I knew that they were going to make it very special.
You told me during the week that you listened to Parcells' pep talk to the team way back on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you yourself got emotional listening to it.
I was ready to go play. In the 3 years I've listened to him do that here and there, I never heard a talk like that. It was awesome motivational speech. He covered all the bases succinctly and just did a terrific job. I was ready to go.
I've known you for a long, long time. Before you had money, when this stadium opened, you were another guy. You used to sit up there in section 217 at the top.
Up on those benches on the goal line are great days with my 4 boys. This is an outstanding day for all our fans here. By winning today, we've just doubled the home playoff record in this team's 37-year history. And please God, we can do well next week and bring these fans what they've been waiting for a long time.
Now, one more question is about Bill Parcells. You know, I got to ask you about that. What do you think will happen when the season is over for you, whether it's next week or whether it's after the Super Bowl, whether Bill will be back?
Well, look, I'm blessed to have this team is blessed to have one of the best coaches in the history of the game. We also have a great organization. It shows that it works this year, 11-5, a bye week. We win this round, we're going to the next round. And Bill and I are going to sit down at the end of the year and see what we can work out. But if anyone doubts that I want him back, they should know that I definitely do.
Okay. What were your emotions during the ball game when you realized that you were going to win the game, like it was 21-0 and 28-3?
I wasn't sure that we really had this game till we scored the last touchdown, and there was about 5 or 6 minutes left. That's when I started to feel good. But I've seen too many of these things turn around, and it's always better to be a little conservative. But this is a great day for all the fans of New England, and I hope for NBC.
How about Jacksonville now? One of the most exciting games of this whole year was here with Jacksonville. They almost won it in the last play of the game. You guys won it in overtime. You saw the great win they had against Denver yesterday.
They are really a complete team. I think when Natrone means running the way he is with one of that great quarterback and receivers, Coach Coughlin has done an outstanding job. We saw him here at Boston College, and they're going to be a formidable opponent. And this business about only being in their second year, that's hogwash. We better be ready, and we'll do everything we can to get things really pumped up at this stadium.
Well, you told me just at the end of the game, you said, this is cool. I says, is it worth $200 million? That's what you paid for this team in this stadium.
I paused for a moment and said, I'd do it again. If we can do this, win next week, and go to that big game, it's not about money. This is a thrill. I'm a custodian of an asset for the New England community, and I hope those people live paycheck to paycheck are as thrilled as I am, and I believe they are.
Bob, thanks very much. It's been terrific. Let's go back upstairs to Marv Albert. Marv?
All right, thank you very much, Will. Once again, our final score in the fog here in Foxboro. The New England Patriots 28, Pittsburgh Steelers 3. Be sure to join us next Sunday for the AFC Championship game as the Jacksonville Jaguars go up against these Patriots for the AFC title and an invitation to Super Bowl 31. Marv Albert, Sam Weish, Randy Cross, along with Jim Gray and Beasley Reese saying so long from Foxboro. Now stay tuned for Greg Gumbel and the NFL on NBC postgame report right after these messages.
NFL on NBC is 3:30 Eastern Time. Kickoff is at 4:05. And before we talk about this game, all of us who picked Denver yesterday and all of us who picked the New England or picked the Pittsburgh Steelers over New England in the game today, we're some experts, aren't we?
Not me. Well, we're not experts at anything, especially picking football games, and I can vouch for that. I was just trying to get to 500. That's what I was trying to get to.
Let me ask you guys, the ex-coaches particularly, here are Bill Cowher's Steelers come into this game. A coach figures his team is ready to go, and they come out and they're either flat or very close to it. The first quarter numbers show that New England had it all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. How frustrating is that for a coach?
Yeah, but I don't know if they were flat. They didn't execute. I think the thing New England did is they took it to them. They challenged them offensively and defensively. The first play of the game, they go after Rod Woodson, the best defensive back Pittsburgh has. They go right after him, throw the ball over top of him. They served notice immediately about what they were going to do. Then I think the coaching job that the Patriots coaches did is outstanding. They figured out what they were going to do to combat that defense of Pittsburgh. And then on offense, when Pittsburgh was on offense, they said, hey, you are not going to beat us running the football. You must beat us throwing the football. They loaded up the offense, the line of scrimmage, and they stopped the running game. I think the coaching job was outstanding, and Bill Cowher didn't do anything wrong. The execution by the Steelers was very poor.
And talk about setting a tone, Joe. In the first quarter, Pittsburgh had 1 first down to the Patriots 7, and the Patriots had 149 total yards to just 37 for the Steelers.
Well, we talked about the key of this team, the heart and soul was a defense, and like Mike said, when you see the heart and soul of your team fall apart on the field, everybody from the coaching staff, defense, special teams, offense, it's shocking. And I will say this, and Mike can probably testify, I have had teams that kind of emotionally hit a wall. I mean, where they're kind of drained. And I think Pittsburgh, they looked that way to me today. They looked like a team that did not have a break last week, played an emotional game last week, travel on the road, go up there, somebody's rested. They didn't look quick. They looked like they were running, you know, in sand. They were not quick like they were on defense. And I tell you, I think they were just flat wore out and looked like they were drained to me.
Well, the other thing, Joe, is the fact that this Pittsburgh Steelers team has not played well either on the road or on grass fields this entire season. A little bit, that defense just not quite as quick and have the ability to get there. The other thing is New England really learned a lot watching that Colt game. The Colts tried to go in with those 4 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, and it created some short corners for the corners to come with the blitz, and that zone blitz really took effect. What you saw from New England today, they came in with the 2-back set, left the tight end in. They were going to make it very difficult for Pittsburgh to come after them with the blitz. As a matter of fact, early in the game, they didn't even attempt it, and I thought that ended up being the difference in the game today.
Well, joining us again here on the post-game show, as he did at halftime, is Indianapolis quarterback Jim Harbaugh from his home in Orlando. And Jim, we saw how this game was going at halftime. It didn't change at all in the second half. Are you surprised by the way this game turned out?
Well, I mean, you never know how a game's going to turn out, but I think the Patriots and Bledsoe drew up a great game plan. They came after him on the first play of the game with a deep pass. I think they saw our game last week. Marvin Harrison was able to get behind their secondary a couple times, and they attacked him the first play of the game. That set the tone. And from there, they put their plan into effect. Stop Pittsburgh's running game in the early downs, make them throw.
What do you do when a team is setting the tone against you and you're trying to break out of that, the way the Patriots did to Pittsburgh today?
Well, you still have to give yourself a chance to win and concentrate on execution. They didn't execute. They made a lot of mistakes. You know, we said it at halftime. Drew Bledsoe did a great job with his cadence. And once they got the lead, another key factor was the Patriots were able to attack Pittsburgh's blitz with the running game. Curtis Martin did a fabulous job, got the 78-yard touchdown, making people miss, and came back with another long run. later in the game.
All right, Jim, we'll get back to you for your thoughts on Dallas versus Carolina in just a few moments. But once again, the New England Patriots victorious today, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-3, and that means Bill Parcells going to another conference title game. He stopped to talk with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Greg Gumbel. I'm now joined by Bill Parcells. Bill, tell us about this game. You got such a big start so early. You had 6 plays on offense and 14 points. Was that the difference?
Well, you know, it's always good to get off to a good lead, particularly against a team like Pittsburgh. I know they wanted to run Bettis and, you know, keep the game the way they played it last week. And, you know, we were trying real hard not to let them do that.
How concerned were you having watched what happened to the Denver Broncos yesterday? And did you relay any type of a message like that to your team today?
No,
having the whole field and losing and so forth?
No, I don't. Hey, that game was irrelevant in that respect. You know, we spent 2 weeks here trying to get ready for Pittsburgh, and, you know, we'd heard a lot about their defense, and quite frankly, our players were a little tired of hearing about that.
Bill, what did you see in their defense? They totally dominated and physically annihilated Jim Harbaugh last week, and they were so dominant. What did you see that was so effective and able to take advantage of?
Well, one of the things is we have 2 weeks to prepare for the game, and that gives you a little bit of an edge in your protections and can get everything settled down. And we had a few rocky times during the game, but by and large, we did all right.
The big plays today and the performance of Curtis Martin. Can you comment on that, please?
Well, you know, the running game's been getting a little criticism, but he's a good runner, and you got to watch him or he'll hurt you.
Now you face a friend of yours, a guy you taught, Tom Coughlin. Been with you a long time. What about playing Jacksonville and Tom?
Well, you know, we played once this year in a very close game, overtime. You know, I don't particularly enjoy playing against a guy like Tom, but that's the way this business is, and I congratulate him for what he's accomplished. He's done a terrific job there in only their second year, and, you know, now we got to fight it out, so we will.
A couple of Hail Marys in that first game. It was really quite a game. It went into overtime. You had the big lead. Right. We expect something like that again?
We were very fortunate to win that game there as it wound down, so we'll see what happens.
Bill, you look exhausted. You don't look too happy.
No, I'm not exhausted. I'm feeling real good.
Congratulations. See you. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay.
All right, let's send it back to Greg Gumbel in New York. Thank you, Bill.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. Yeah, he is pleased, although he doesn't show it. And, Mike, he's attempting to do what only Don Shula has done before. Don Shula, the only head coach with Baltimore and Miami to take 2 different teams to a Super Bowl. Bill Parcells trying to equal that.
I tell you, he's a great coach. I tell you what he's worried about right now, and I know Bill. He's worried about how to get these guys out of the clouds back down to earth because he's worried that they're not going to take Jacksonville serious enough.
Joe?
One thing you see in a coach's face, I mean, that game was over, and right away, I think this guy was thinking about next week and the challenge he has. I'd say the one other thing he's feeling right now, he is elated for this reason. His team had been questioned about being able to win a big game. His quarterback had been questioned. And I think today he feels vindicated. Hey, they heard all this about Pittsburgh. You notice what he said? Yeah, I guarantee you that was in the pep talk. And he feels like they came out there and said to everybody, hey, we're for real.
All right, coaches, we'll take a time out here. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Dallas versus Carolina as the post-game report continues. 4 divisional playoff games is in Charlotte. The Carolina Panthers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The second-year Panthers look to join Jacksonville in the conference championship round. The Cowboys are looking for their 4th Super Bowl title in 5 years, but Dallas had to play a wild card game last week while Carolina had a bye.
Anytime you have a little extra time to prepare for an opponent, it's going to help you out a lot. And I think last week's work is definitely going to help us in this game.
What's the movie, Living Dead 7? We done woke up about 7 times. We've been dead and written off. So to be into the second round of the playoffs, man, it feels good.
We just want to be prepared for just about everything that we think that they're going to throw at us. And if we're able to pick up most of them and make some plays at the same time, then we might see a totally different ball game.
I'm sure you guys are probably saying, well, the Panthers, they don't have any playoff experience, and, you know, this is the world champs, and, you know, they don't know what it takes and all this other kind of stuff. And that's fine, because we have one thing in mind, that's preparing for the Cowboys and, you know, playing the best games of our lives.
Well, back in week 3 of the regular season, Indianapolis beat the Dallas Cowboys 25-24. Jim Harbaugh, let's go back to you and ask you how this Dallas team has changed since that early in the season.
Well, it's changed a lot, in my opinion. You know, Dallas got ahead of us 18 points in that game, and they got a little bit bored, and we kind of thought they might, and we were able to come back and win. And I think that's the way Dallas played their entire regular season. Like a team that was just playing the season, kind of bored with everything. They got into that first round of the playoffs last week, and they looked like an entirely different team against Minnesota.
The Colts haven't had quite the off-the-field problems that the Dallas Cowboys have had, but as a player, how do you think that affects a team going into a game?
Well, you know, I don't know the situation down there. You know, just like anybody else, you're just looking through the keyhole. But, you know, I think they'll be focused for the game. They've had adversity. They've had controversy before down there. It's hard to say how it will affect them.
All right, Jim Harbaugh, thanks very much for joining us. We wish you a healthy offseason. We'll see you next season. Meanwhile, Mike, let's turn to you and ask you how you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be focusing for this game.
Well, you know, I think adversity can do two things. I think it can tear a football team apart or it can pull a football team together. I think there's enough leadership on this football team, in the players and in the coaches, to put this thing back together. I think they put this self aside. They understand that this is a sixth straight year they're in the playoffs. That's a record. They're a very excellent football team if they do the things fundamentally that they can do. They haven't done them during the season, and I agree with Jim. They look like a team that was bored at times. This is an outstanding football team. It will not be easy for Carolina to beat them, but Carolina can beat them.
Joe, one of the first things you do is you look at the quarterback position. What do you see?
You look at the interesting matchups, and I think this is really great, fascinating. You got Kerry Collins, that's never played in a playoff game. You got Troy Aikman. Think about this. This guy has over 100 quarterback rating in playoff games. So you got probably the best guy in the league going against an unproven quarterback. Now look at pass protection. Another interesting matchup here. Dallas is the best in the league at protecting their quarterback. And yet you have Carolina is the best in the league at sacking the quarterback. This is going to be kind of interesting to watch. Best against best. There's going to be some lumps put on each other.
I want to see the Dallas Cowboys offense do it again, though. They got 6 turnovers in that game last week against the Minnesota Vikings. It was a great matchup for them because of Minnesota's undersized defensive line, and they were able to just run the football right over those guys. I don't think that's going to happen today against Sam Mills and Kevin Green and the people on that defense. The other key is for Carolina with Anthony Johnson to get their running game going against this Dallas defense. We really have not seen them tested on the ground without Leon Lett in there. It's going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. I think Carolina's going to win.
All right, Chris, let's go back to today's game. Once again, the final score, 28-3. The New England Patriots defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drew Bledsoe led the way for the Patriots, 14 of 24, 164 yards and a touchdown, and he talked with Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg Gumbel. With Drew Bledsoe. Drew, an excellent day for you today. Now, so much talk. You had to come out, perform very well in a big game. Do you think you did that today?
I think I started off pretty hot. You know, our offense started off hot. We had the big play to Terry to start with. They got Rob Woodson backed off of us, and then we were able to do some things through the first and the start of the second quarter. And from then on, our defense and Curtis Martin carried us.
What's the emotion like in the locker room? They know they faced the Jaguars. You and your teammates coming up this weekend. What was it like, and is this like a gift? I mean, everybody expected Denver to win. Is this a walk into the Super Bowl?
This is definitely not a walk into the Super Bowl. You know, our guys are very excited right now. I'm very excited, and we're very happy, but we realize that we have our work cut out for us if we want to get to the big game, because Jacksonville has done something that nobody believed they would do twice in a row on the play of Mark Brunell and Natrone Means. Our defense is going to have their hands full, and we're going to have to score some points.
Now, this place is going to be crazy. This town, this area, all week long. What do you have to do to remain focused, to re-gear, re-energize, and really get it done this weekend?
It's not hard. It's not hard. You know, we realize we've got the ultimate reward sitting there away, 2 games away from us, and you know, it's not going to be hard to stay focused. I'm going to enjoy this one tonight. Tomorrow, it's back to work. I'm going to start looking at Jacksonville. It's not going to be hard to stay focused at all.
All right, Drew, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Greg Gumbel, back to you.
All right, Beasley, thanks. So the AFC Championship game is set. Jacksonville versus New England. We will look ahead to that game right after this. Next week, they met earlier in the season. These two quarterbacks also met in college, with Drew Bledsoe playing at Washington State and Mark Brunell at Washington back in 1992. Take a look at Brunell. Is he used to running the football? Yeah, you bet he is. Meanwhile, could Drew Bledsoe throw the football back in college? This is in a snowstorm. Watch him launch this one. He threw for 260 yards and 2 touchdowns on this day as Washington State beat Washington by a score of 42-23. Now, in week 4 of this season, as we've been telling you all day, New England defeated Jacksonville in overtime 28-25. This is definitely a tale of 2 quarterbacks.
Let's look at a little preview here in that game 4. If you take a look and see what's going to happen in this game next week. When I take a look at this, okay, Bledsoe passed for 255 yards. They're the 3rd rated pass offense. He was going up against the 16th rated pass defense in Jacksonville. Look at Brunell. He threw for 432 yards, and he's going up against a 28th rated pass defense. I look at this thing. This is going to be balls in the air. It's going to be a great game.
You know, we better not overlook the fact that the New England defense is a much improved defense from earlier in the season.
Well, they really are, but the one thing I want to mention about Jacksonville, over the last 7 games now, they've improved for one reason, basically one main reason. They've really cut down their mistakes. They averaged 3 penalties a game over those 7 games, and they've only turned the ball over 4 times over those last 7 games. This is why they're not making mistakes. They're not shooting themselves in the foot. They were doing that earlier. That's why they got behind the 8 ball. But this is amazing when you think about it. The Patriots started 0-2, Jacksonville 1-3, and they're playing for the AFC championship.
You know, Jacksonville's defense, though, yesterday really impressed me. They dropped back into those zone defenses. They basically dared Denver to run the football, and for whatever reason, Mike Shanahan did not go with Terrell Davis, did not try and stay with the running game nearly long enough, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the challenge for Bill Parcells next week. He's got to stay with the run with Curtis Martin. Don't set himself up in those long yardage situations where Drew Bledsoe has to throw the football.
You know, if you're looking for clues, though, here are 2 teams who are pretty much doing everything right the last few weeks.
Boy, they sure are. It absolutely is. But Mark Brunell, in my opinion, went from being an unknown kind of a quarterback to a superstar almost overnight in these 2 playoff games.
Yeah. We got to say New England's defense, 6 games previous to this, and not giving up more than 11 points a game. So I think they have stepped up.
All right, this has been our last studio show for this season, and we certainly couldn't have done it without another terrific job from our studio crew, our staff, and our researchers. And as we say goodbye, I look at the names of the men and women who helped bring you our coverage of the AFC Divisional playoffs yesterday in Denver and today from Foxboro, Massachusetts. We invite you to join us next Sunday for the AFC Championship game. The New England Patriots hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Airtime for the NFL on NBC is 3:30 Eastern Time. Kickoff at 4:05 Eastern. NBC tonight starts with Dateline, then it's Third Rock from the Sun, followed by Boston Common. Then it's the world premiere movie In the Line of Duty, Blaze of Glory. For Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, and Chris Collinsworth, I'm Greg Gumbel, and we'll see you next weekend from Foxboro.
Speech. He covered all the bases.